Marco.
Let's go.
Marco.
Yeehaw. It's bull wrangling time.
Obama.
You're fucking bull.
Billions and billions.
Marco.
Do you like me?
Yes. Ladies and gentlebergs, we are back in Canadiaville. Can you believe this? Can you believe it? Let me see how he looks like. Oh, his mouth moves to the words. Even though on OBS it doesn't look like his mouth is synced up to the words, but on YouTube it's all good, so that's good. What's up, everybody? We're here. Yes, wow, man. I'm gonna sleep well tonight. I'm gonna pass out and sleep well tonight. Wow. I just got back today from, where was it? Washington, D.C. The President theme song.
Interrupting.
Thank you, Tex and Ming.
Marco.
Yeehaw. It's bull wrangling time.
Thank you, guys. That's so sweet. I appreciate that. Wow, a little birthday bag to start it off. I love that. I just got back from Washington, D.C. Not to be confused with Washington, D's nuts. But I'm back. And wow, I just had an amazing few days out there. And it's crazy. I'm back home on the West Coast. From the East Coast, traveled all day today. I was on a plane all day. I was by myself. And I'm back at home streaming for you guys like it's, another regular day. And I was literally outside the White House yesterday.
Obama.
Yeah. So that's crazy. I want to tell y'all the whole story. And it's also my birthday today. Wow, it's his birthday. It's his birthday.
Marco. Play it some more, Marco.
Love it. Thank you, guys.
God did.
Yes, he did. I want to give a big up and a wagwan to Legend Gaming, Trey Tino, 100 Fulcrum, Dylan Honey, Rainy Kanan, Rebecca, Sammy, Diana, Draco, JW, Ingrid. Oh, man, who's that?
Happy birthday, Marco. First donation I've given to a YouTuber. Keep doing a great job.
No way. That's so fucking sweet, bro. Who did that? Let me find out. This cult is becoming more than a cult. This is a family. Wavy AF, thank you so much for that, Wavy AF. That means a lot. For real, bro. Or bruh, if you're a gal. Bruh is the gender neutral term for bro. What is up, Rebecca, Oliver, all my members, Hannah, B. Coleman. I see a lot of happy birthdays in the chat. Thank you, guys. I'm just going to say one blanket thank you to everybody. This is the life of a rich, famous celebrity. It's hard. You can't respond to every thank you. You just, sometimes it'd be so crazy. I just got to open up the front door, go like this, just outside to the general, outdoors, and let that send a message for me because, wrong button, because it'd be like that. Panda, what up, Panda, Lee, Jared, Alex, appreciate you guys, man. Thumbs up the stream.
Thumbs up the team.
We've got a lot to cover. There's an episode of Building Fortunes Radio that I haven't reacted to. That's big.
Marco.
And I have to tell you guys about this Guanference, which I'm very excited for. Can't believe I'm 27. Will I join the 27 club? Will I be assassinated in my 27th year of life by the Direct Selling Association? Who knows? Only one way to find out. I'm surprised you didn't bring back a Trump hat, says NPAZ. Yeah, I still have my Trump button, my trusty old Trump button, but I did not bring back a Trump hat. Everything ended up being way more expensive than I expected. So that's why I didn't splurge on merchandise and shit. Although that would have been the place to do it, DC. Eliza, thank you for having me. Marco's body is physically at 10:52 p.m. That's right. I just came from, the East Coast is 2 hours ahead, so I have to do that. And then when I went, it's also daylight saving, so it's actually 3 hours ahead. So it was a bit of an adjustment. let's see. The Nerds Loft, the Shakedown, what up? Mallory, great meeting you. All these y'alls that were out there, social media folk at the conference, was really great meeting you guys. And you know, that was a great experience for all of us. I think I speak on behalf of everybody when I say that. Meek, what up? Brett, thank you. All right. Viz Mayhem, wagwan. Appreciate you guys. Okay, so thumbs up the stream, obviously.
Thumbs up the king.
Of course. And let me regale you with the whole story, okay? So here's the whole story of the trip. My flight was supposed to be after midnight on the 11th. So technically it was the night of the 10th, and you just stay up late until it becomes the 11th. And I was streaming at that time. And you guys might remember, if you were watching that stream or if you watched the replay, I got a notification on my phone from the airline, Air Canada, telling me that the flight was delayed, and then they moved it earlier, and it was actually going to take off at 12:25 and not 2 a.m. So I rushed to get there. I was like, I'm not going to park my car. I'll take an Uber. I took an Uber. It was like $50. I get to the airport. I'm standing there. By the way, just spoiler alert, this is going to end up in me just writing a huge complaint to Air Canada. I get there, and they say, yeah, the flight has been pushed to 11 a.m., so tomorrow morning. And I was like, I showed her my phone, the lady at the Air Canada desk, and it clearly fucking says 11 p.m. today. It clearly says that, 11 p.m., March the 10th. That's clearly what it says. So she was like, yeah, I know, that's whatever. It's their mistake. So I then Ubered back home another $50 that night for no reason. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, you know what? Maybe it's for the better, because I would have just been flying through the whole night, which wouldn't have been very fun. Hey, thank you, Christian. Hey, thank you. I love that. Yeah, I would love to meet y'all in NY. So I Ubered back home, and I was trying to stay positive about it. I was like, okay, I'll be, if I had gone on that midnight flight, I probably wouldn't have been able to sleep on the plane. I would have gotten to DC so jet lagged and so destroyed that the entirety of the day of the 11th, I probably would have just been like sleeping on and off. And then who knows what kind of shape I would have been in on the 12th. So I was like, okay, maybe it works out for the better. I'll wake up, I'll go to bed, I'll wake up at like a normal time, fly through the day, and then when I get there, it'll just be like I've had a long day, and I'll go to sleep. That did end up being the case, but the next morning when I went to go, I was like, I'm not doing this Uber shit again in case something happens. I'll drive and park my car. And I looked at the parking online. It said it's only $15 a day. I was like, okay, perfect, $15 a day. And I get there and I park. I leave it. It's one of those things you pay when you come back. So boom, everything goes smooth. Fast forward a bit to today. When I got back to the airport and I gave them my ticket thing, they're like, yeah, that'll be $125. I was like, I thought it was $15 a day. I was gone 5 days. How does that make sense? They're like, where did you park? I was like, in the fucking thing. They're like, oh, you actually parked in the one that's labeled, there's like Easy Park and Value Park. And one of them is cheaper. I think Easy Park is the more expensive one. I didn't know what the fuck I was looking at when I was driving around trying to find a spot. So it turned out, wow, thank you.
Part of that Uber ride. I'll get more to you tomorrow, XO.
Wow, Blaze Goddess, you're so fucking sweet. Yeah, thank you.
Marco.
So I didn't know where I was driving around trying to find a parking spot on that day. I parked in the wrong one. I parked in the one that was $25 a day. So 25 times 5. 50, 75, 100 is $125. So they got me. How was the actual experience of flying there, Marco? Well, I'm glad you asked. Flying there, so the way that it goes is I fly from Edmonton to Toronto. In Toronto, I go through U.S. Customs. I fly from Toronto to Washington, D.C. Boom, I'm there. Let's start with Edmonton. I fly from Edmonton to Toronto on one of those big jumbo planes I've never even been on before that has like not just like economy plus, they have business class, those little angled like pods where you can, it's all to yourself and it's got like the walls around it. What?
125? They're mad trippin'.
What you were
Thank
about
you,
to
Wavy
witness
AF.
is real. The participants are not actors.
Yeah,
They are
125
actual
was
litigants
fucked.
for the case pending.
Fucked. Plus, I still have to go dispute with Air Canada the $100 on Uber I spent the first night when they moved my flight. And you know how they're going to do. They're not going to give me cash for the Uber. They're going to be like, oh, well, we'll give you a, $100 credit or whatever for your trouble. And like, who knows when I'm going to fly again. That's just their way of keeping the money in their pocket. They never really take accountability. It's so fucked. But thank you for that. I really appreciate that. So flying from Edmonton to Toronto, by the way, thumbs up the ting.
Thumbs up the team.
I was on one of those big planes. I did not have business class, but because it's such a short flight, I was like, let me try out this premium economy. And it was like $80 to upgrade when I bought my ticket. And the whole thing was very cheap. And I was like, you know what? It's my birthday week. I want to just try the experience and see. So this flying experience from Edmonton, this was the longer flight. That's why I wanted to spend the extra $85 on it, because Edmonton to Toronto, it's like about 5 hours, 4.5 hours, 5 hours. So, and then Toronto to DC is only like an hour and a half because they're both East Coast. So I was like, okay, if I'm going to upgrade one of my flights, it's going to be the more long distance one, so I'm comfortable. That flight was one of the best flying experiences I ever had. So I am the birthday month, birthday week, King Girly. So true. So true, frankly. So that flight, I sat in premium economy right behind the business class folks. And honestly, like, WestJet is the other airline, or as Scott Johnson calls it, Jet West. WestJet is the other airline that's big out here on the West Coast. It's pretty limited. It's like, you can go to Mexico and some places, but it's not like Air Canada. It's not like Delta, American Airlines, Air Canada, So the WestJet planes have something called WestJet Plus. This is the best they offer, and it is poo-poo caca. The Air Canada Premium Economy was even better than WestJet Plus, and then on top of that, they had business class. So I was not in business class. Those are super expensive, and there was more people in business class than I expected to see. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm judging a book by its cover, but I am. There was people in business class who did not look like people that should be in business class. You know what I'm saying? I always expect to see like some old rich white dude in a suit, but there was like hella dusty looking people in there. Anyways, I sat next to a beautiful woman. We chatted about how she works in fashion, and I'm the president and whatever. I save the world. And the seat was big. It was comfy. Lots of leg room. Then the flight from Toronto to DC, the circumference of the body of the plane was as big or maybe smaller than one of the turbines on the first big plane. Like, that's how big that first plane was. It was a row of 2 people, okay? An aisle, a row of 4 people, an aisle, and then a row of 2 people. The next plane that I got on was like 2 and 2, just crammed like sardines. Wow.
Keep it up, primo.
The Sosanator. Thank you, the Sosanator. I appreciate you. So, we made it. There was delays, but the delays actually turned out to be a good thing, because the delay of the first flight, both when I went to DC and coming home today, it was delayed. My first flight was delayed like 3 hours. It made the layover that I would have had much smaller. So I basically got off the one plane right onto the other plane, which I don't know if you would look at that as a good thing. I don't know if maybe some of y'all, if you have a layover, you prefer to like be able to stretch your legs and walk around and get some food and whatever. part of me is kind of like, I just want to fucking get it over with. So, thank you, Panda. Thank you, Panda. Not Panda. Yes.
My baby is sleeping. Shake that ass for me. Shake that ass for me. Happy birthday, old man. P.S.
Wow.
Air Canada Suix.
Let me guess that that's Johnny Azul who donated that, just based on the nature of that tone, and it is. And I was right. Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate you. Wow. Such a nice birthday gesture. So, yeah, we made it through, and everybody was there, and they all clicked thumbs up the ting.
Do you like me?
Oh, wrong button.
Thumbs up the ting.
There you go. So, yeah, we did it. We made it through. What else? I'm trying to think. There's a story amidst this somewhere. I got to... Let me think. I got to D.C. that night, went straight to the hotel, took a taxi, because the taxi was only $20, and the Uber would have been $50 American dollars, so like 2 million Canadian. I get to the hotel. I'm super tired, but I was also hungry, and close to the hotel I was staying, there was an IHOP, and I went to that IHOP at like post midnight, and I ordered a burger. Now, I know what you're thinking. An IHOP burger in America after midnight probably would have destroyed my gut and given me the most biblical diarrhea ever.
Big ting birthday ting.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thumbs up the
Wow.
ting.
Thank you so much. Where's the
Big up the youth, them, we out of Kingston.
Where's the big
Big ting, white boy, summer ting.
Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate you. For real. Thank you. Thank you. When I tell you that IHOP burger was one of the best burgers I've ever had, I'm just as confused as you. And when I tell you that after eating that perfect temperature, perfectly dressed, perfectly crispy cooked warm fries, once I ate that, I accepted the fact that I was going to get diarrhea. And when I tell you that not only did I not get diarrhea, but I felt great and slept like a baby, that I'm just as confused as you. So I don't know if that was God looking out for me or what,
God did.
but it worked out. And the IHOP was amazing. So, sorry, diarrhea demons.
Gotcha.
Sorry, gotcha. And we made it. We made it. IHOP is a big-time ghost kitchen in the U.S. They cook for a group of delivery places. Really? I didn't know that. IHOP's food is great for the price. You've only ever had good experience in IHOP? Wow. I mean, Edmonton, we have like one IHOP, and it's not really that sick from what I remember. I think I've had it one time. Okay, so now on to the real stuff, right? On to the real stuff. So, Marco, tell us about the conference. Okay, dear viewer, I will. Okay, so first off, day two. I'm calling this day one. When I got there and did all the traveling, had the IHOP. That's day one. I also stayed up. No, I didn't. Sorry. I went to sleep after the IHOP. I woke up and I felt reborn again. That morning/afternoon, I worked on ironing my dress, shirts, and pants that I was going to wear for the next 2 days. Those are the two suits that you guys saw me buy. Because later that day, I was doing an interview with the OG Douglas Brooks. He is a class action lawyer, among other types of law. He has a background in franchise law. He has sued MLMs several times before. He's a champion of the cause. He gets it. He was in the movie Betting on Zero. He was featured pretty heavily, representing a group of Hispanic people in a class action lawsuit against Herbalife. And he was speaking at the conference as well. He actually spoke twice. And yeah, class action lawyer and class act. And he agreed to do an interview with me for this channel. I hired a videographer out there who I have to shout out. J Perk Productions, bro. Jeffrey, if y'all are in DC or that area, I checked this. I found this guy just by going on Instagram, searching the hashtag DC videographer. This guy has like a general videography page, a wedding videography photography page, a corporate videography photography page, a music video videography photography page, and he like keeps them all updated. Like I was checking out his shit every single day. He was doing stuff. Like I went on his Instagram. He had a post made every single day for like as far as I went back. Just it was clear he did a lot of work. He seemed to have a lot of gear. His quality was good. He seemed to crush it with what he does. So I reached out to him, and, you know, you guys helped me fund that, which I really appreciate. He pulled up, and I was so worried about this because, you know, I paid him before we met up. This guy's in another country than I live in. If he had just blocked me and run off with the money, realistically, it would have been hard for me to get that, to do anything about it, and I wouldn't have had the interview. There's also the issue of like, you know, we didn't have a working relationship, so maybe he just ghosts me and doesn't show up, or maybe he shows up and it's a train wreck, or maybe we do it and it all seems to go great, but then I find out that he wasn't recording, or the memory card got messed up, or something. And man, not only did none of that bad stuff happen, he actually saved the video because I was planning on, I told him, just bring the cameras, I'll handle the audio. Because I have these lav mics that clip onto like your tie or your, you know, pocket. Wow.
Happy birthday. A little something just to show you how stupid you really are, heart.
Marco.
Let's go.
Do you like me?
You're poor. You're fucking poor.
Thank you, NPaz. Yeah, you really showed me, buddy. You really showed me. Thank you guys, for real. So I have these lav mics. And I had them in there. They were charged up, but I forgot to bring, and it's always the stupidest shit like this. I forgot to bring the little cable that connects the receiver into the camera. So they're wireless, right? So I'm wearing one, Doug is wearing one, that we speak, and the audio gets picked up. These are the transmitters. They transmit the sound, and they get sent to the receiver, which is mounted on top of the camera. And that receiver is plugged into the camera so that that audio just gets directly burned into the video. And it's as though the audio, you know, there's no room echo because the mic is right here. So it sounds like, you know, how it would sound if we were face-to-face talking. I forgot that cable. He had an extra cable. Dude, this guy had so much shit in his bag. He had stands. He brought big lights. Like, we had more lights than we needed. We actually shut one of them off. And, it just went so perfect. I looked at the footage after. The footage looks incredible. The audio sounds great. Like, not to jinx it, everything went amazingly. And I was so happy that I had just decided to pay him, even though, you know, this is not a complaint. It was a lot of money. It was expensive, especially after you convert from Canadian to American. It's like significantly more. So, but there's that saying, you know, the cheapest route ends up being the most expensive. Whenever you try to cut corners, you end up paying for it with the end product, and that you pay a toll that's maybe not financial, but it's, you know, I just figured I was only going to be out there once, and you only get to shoot it once. If I fuck up, that's it. So let me do it right, and let me spare no expense. When he told me his price, I didn't even argue with him. I just said, yep, that's your price. The price is the price. Let's do it. Because I know he deals with rappers. Rappers are the most, I used to work at a studio. Rappers are the most finicky, flaky, unreliable people. You wouldn't even believe it. A rapper will come into the studio and spend 4 hours knowing the rate is $50 an hour. So $200 is the cost for the session or whatever. And he's rapping the whole time about Lambos and his wealth and whatever, and he's in there drinking Henny and smoking joints and like having a party, and then when you tell him, all right, it's $200, you know, he's Stephen King with all the stories he'd be telling you, or asking for discounts. You can't do 80 fam? Exactly, Panda. So, or just saying, yo, I'll pay you at this time, and then he never does, and then it's like, you know, you didn't send him the mixes, but you also didn't get paid.
Happy birthday, G. Big
Hey,
UPS to
thank
you.
you.
Keep
Thank
doing
you,
you.
Tenzing. You're the goat. Tenzing? He sent me a tenting. You see it? So when Jeff told me his price, I just said yes. He immediately sent me the invoice for the deposit. I immediately paid the deposit. The day before the shoot, or 2 days before, he sent me the remaining balance. We hadn't even shot yet. I sent it to him. Again, knock on wood that everything goes perfect. He showed up to the shoot even like a couple minutes before we did. And he came in and he was prepared for everything. And he even gave me the SD cards that we shot on. He gave them to me so that I could just handle all the footage, and I had it with me. So I didn't have to worry about him like sending it through Google Drive and data transfer and all this nonsense. Like, he gave me the cards too. Jeff, JPerk Productions, JPERK Productions on Instagram. A real professional, knowledgeable dude. We had a convo before I even flew out there too, and I was sort of trying to do it just to quiz him. I was like, all right, for this type of thing, what kind of camera are you going to use? What's the picture profile? What's the lens? What aperture are we going to shoot at? Etc., etc. And everything was perfect. We had a 3-camera setup. My camera that you're watching this on was used for the wide shot where you see both me and Doug. And then Jeff had 2 different cameras, one as a close-up on Doug, one as a close-up on me. It's like a true, beautiful interview. And I'm going to shout out also, I'm not going to say his name because I don't think there was any information that you can see in the video that would dox his location, but there was a fellow who was also one of the speakers at the conference who was kind enough to let us use his house, his living room, to shoot the interview. And it was amazing. He accommodated us. It was just him there. The place was clean. He offered us drinks. His girlfriend and his dog were not there on purpose so that we could do this. He really came through and hooked it up. And that was a big saving grace, because prior to that, I was thinking of shooting it in the hotel in a conference room. They wanted to charge me an additional $500 US just for 2 hours of shooting. And I looked at the pictures. It was like a poopy little, not even nice looking conference room. The other option was shooting at this university in their general atrium, which was open to the public. But after I saw that in person, wow, thank you, Mr. There Is No Spoon.
Happy birthday, brother. Thank you for being a blessing in this world.
Thank you. Wow. The cult is strong, y'all. After I saw what that space looked like, it was a big stress off my shoulders. I'm trying to juggle all these things. I'm trying to make sure the audio is good, trying to make sure Jeff is good. Jeff's trying to make sure the cameras are good. I'm trying to engage with Doug and make sure I ask all the right questions and keep the convo flowing and, don't mess anything up. So to have another thing to worry about, some security guard walking around the campus being like, are you guys allowed to be here? Do you have a permit? It wouldn't have been, it would have thrown me off my game completely. So thank you to that dude. You know who you are, for helping us with the shoot. And by the way, I know y'all see the anti-MLM, the anti-pyramid merch right there. The collage I posted on Instagram today, which is going stupid crazy. Thank you. I got little pins made that arrived just in the nick of time for me to go to the conference and rock these anti-pyramid pins. And shout out to Doug, he wore one as well. And I should have wore them for the interview. Why the fuck didn't I do that? I didn't think about it. There's too much going on. So I still have that promo code up. If you use the code STREAM on alwaysmarcomerch.com, you'll get 20% off your whole order. So if you want to do a little birthday shopping on alwaysmarcomerch.com, thank you, Debbie. Were you at the studio rapping, Marco? Because those were bars. So true. So true. Yes, Eliza. She says, at the end of the day, you're going to be so happy because you ended up going with an amazing videographer. You would have hugely regretted not getting him or one at all. Exactly. Yeah, NPAZ, you get what you pay for. Rainy Kanan says it's an investment. So true. So true. So, hey, thank you, Catherine. So, yeah, man, it was really really amazing. Yes, Danny, you can order from wherever. So that was really amazing. Boom, we wrapped that up. I was so honored because actually, you know what? It was before we even went and shot the interview. Doug, I didn't want to overstep because Doug was already being so gracious to do the interview with me and meet with me, and he's helped me so much in the past in my own personal legal matters. And I wanted to spend as much time with him as possible. I wanted to ask him to like go to dinner and whatever, but I also knew other people were gonna like want to talk to him and be around him as well. So I didn't ask him. I didn't say nothing like that. And even before we went to the interview, we were waiting in the lobby of the hotel for the Uber to come get us. He said to me, Bill, Dr. Bill Keep, William Keep, the guy who organized this whole thing, the one who said unread to Scott Johnson, Doug said, Bill and I were talking about dinner after this, if you'd like to join us and this and that. I said, only if it's cool with both of y'all. And he's like, yeah, it is. So that was a real big honor. Those plans ended up falling through. I think everybody was tired from traveling that day or the day before. So we didn't end up doing it. But the next day I woke up, 7 a.m. I met Doug in the lobby of the hotel. We were both staying at the same hotel around 7:30, 7:45. We walked to where the conference was going to be. We got there at 8. Bill was the only person there. He was the first one there. It was me, Bill, and Doug. So I met Bill. That was really cool. The three of us were there. People started to file in. By 9 o'clock, we started. And morning session was great. Afternoon session was great. My session, I think, was the third one that came up. I was really happy with how it went. I did go a little bit longer than I had expected or than I had planned to. Originally, my speech was like 4,000 words, and then the night before, I stayed up till like 2 a.m. editing, and I trimmed it down to 2999 words. I got it under 3,000 words, so I cut almost 1,000 words out of it. And I didn't get a lot of sleep that night. I went to bed at 2, woke up at 7. So, and then the next day was like that too. So it's been rough. I'm tired right now. But we did, I did my segment. I know some of you guys were trolling me saying like you could only see my head and it wasn't the best. I also think that for next year, if they do it in person, it would probably be better to have like a singular good quality camera that everybody goes in front of and does their part rather than everyone just using their laptop cameras, because it's almost like what's the point of being in person if that's, but we're working it out. It's a step. And so I did make sure that I filmed my part separately. I know you guys were watching me here on the webcam camera, but I had my other camera there like that filming me. So I have a much cleaner, much better audio and video version of the speech in full that I will be uploading in the next little bit here. And, the coolest part about that to me was all the people I got to meet. There was people from the Attorney General's office who I probably won't, shouldn't name. There was people from the FTC, and I was looking forward to meeting them. I had seen some of the people on previous years' conferences in the videos, and, we all just hit it off. Everybody got along. Everybody seemed to, everybody contributed something that was positive. And, to me, one of the things that sort of gave me optimism about the future of this is the FTC people that I talked to were really actually did seem to give a fuck. And I think I'm a pretty good judge of character. And the biggest complaint or, concern that I've heard from people when I tell people to report their pyramid scheme that they used to be in to the FTC is they think nothing is actually going to happen. They think that these government agencies are just like faceless, suit and tie, like men in black, robots. And I can tell you that's not the case, at least with the people I saw there. Nah, these were real people. and I got to talk to them on a personal, private level, and they did get it. They do get it, and it's just the thing you have to understand is there's just a lot of bureaucratic red tape. Even the people that work at the FTC think it's bullshit that there's so much lobbying that goes on that prevents, them from being able to do their job as efficiently. And they also are limited in terms of their resources. The FTC is not like some 10,000 person corporation. I think there's 1,100 people. 1,100 people that have to look out for every type of business opportunity scam, not just MLM. And MLM is a huge one. So that's why it is important to report to the FTC. I have a strategy going forward for how we can make this really effective regarding MLMs. And I'm not going to spoil it right now, but you'll see it when my next Infiltrating a Pyramid Scheme video comes out. I'll explain it. And they have to work with the laws that are in place. So, and thumbs up the stream as well, y'all.
Thumbs up the team.
So, I skipped something, though. Okay? This is a Scott Johnson related thing.
Do you like me?
On my way to DC, I can't believe I fucking skipped this. On my way to DC, I had a layover in Toronto. I get to Toronto. I have a very short window of time to make it from my gate to the now connecting gate, because my first flight, remember, was delayed. The original plan was I was going to get to Toronto and I would have had like 3 hours to kill and go through customs and all that. Because my first flight got pushed up so much, I had basically no time. I get to, what up, Savannah? Thank you. Wrong button. Thank you, Savannah. When I got to Toronto, obviously the first stop is U.S. Customs. I go there. I give them my passport. They say, Marco, where are you headed? I said, I'm going to Washington, D.C. They said, why are you going to Washington, D.C.? I said, I'm speaking at a conference. Why are you speaking at a conference? These guys are very intimidating and, just sharp and quick with it. Why are you speaking at a conference? I said, I'm going to make YouTube videos about multi-level marketing. Oh, okay. You getting paid for that? No, I'm actually paying to do it. Oh, okay. You bring anything with you? Nope. Okay. Usually they just go, all right, have a nice day. This is the first time in my life where that didn't happen. The guy goes, all right, Marco, come with me. I'm like, oh no.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases.
So he takes me into the fucking back security room where there's all these other customs dudes behind the counter. And the first thing I see when I walk in is a lady who looks like a regular lady. She's standing there at the thing, and the guy is reading off to her the law. You are being denied entry into the country under subsection B of the Canadian Penal Code. Do you understand? And she's like, yeah. I felt bad for her, actually. He was ruthless. He didn't even look at her. And I was like, oh, fuck. What's going to happen to me? So the guy tells me, just have a seat there. They'll call you up when they're ready. I just finished listening to The Power of Now audiobook. Okay? Eckhart Tolle. So I'm trying to stay present with it. I'm trying to accept. I'm telling myself, all right, Marco, this is out of your hands. If you miss the flight, you miss the flight. You'll get there eventually. But it was I think my connecting flight was at 8, and it was 7:50 when they sat me there. So I watch it turn to 7:50. I watch it turn to 7:55. I watch it turn to 8. Still nobody calls me up. I go up to one of the guys, and I say, hey, sorry to interrupt. I said, I don't know if this matters here. I'm sure y'all don't care, but just I wanted to put it out there. My connecting flight is supposed to be right now. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll call you. I was like, all right, fuck it. So I'm hooped. There's nothing I can do. Finally, one dude calls me up to the desk, the counter, and this dude, there's no way to say it. He was sexy. Okay? He was this white dude, maybe late 30s, sort of the shaved sides and a little bit longer on top and covered in tattoos. And he just had this no-nonsense shit about him. Shit actually had me a little bit bricked. I don't gonna lie to you. Anyways, keeping it profesh. So he says, what are you doing in the country? I said, I'm going to speak at a conference. What's it about? I said, multi-level marketing. He said, tell me about it. I said, I make YouTube videos, blah, 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 blah. I tell him the whole thing. He says, are you getting paid for it? I say, no. And then he says, how long you been doing this? I said, I've probably been doing YouTube 5 years. He goes, oh, yeah? What about before that? I was like, oh, before that, I don't know, working at a casino, promotion company. Yeah, what about before that? I was like, I don't know, working at a fucking, my dad's restaurant. Oh, what about before that? I was like, dude. This for sure is the result of Scott Johnson. Scott Johnson sent an email. I'm not going to say how I know this. A couple people actually forwarded to me. Scott Johnson sent an email to like Homeland Security and the U.S. Border Patrol and Customs and whatever, telling them that I am like some ruthless drug kingpin and shyster and criminal, and they shouldn't let me into the country. Now, I'm sure that the reason they question me is because they have some duty of care, and if a complaint or a report comes in, even if it seems bullshit, they have to like check off the box that says they did something and they looked into it, right? Because God forbid I make it through and I actually do turn out to be a huge criminal and they didn't do their job. So I understand. But that second guy let me go with no problem. He's like, all right, Marco, you're good to go. When he said you're good to go, I was like, I'm going to ask. I said, I don't know if you can tell me this, but did you guys pull me in here because you got an email from somebody? And he goes, well, you know, I can't tell you that, but what do you know? I said, well, I know that a report was made about me and sent to you guys by these dudes who are, you know, opposed to what I do. They're like pro MLM. And so they're trying to sabotage me. Like they try to sabotage everything I do. He goes, what are their names? I said, Scott Johnson and Peter Mingles. He goes, okay. He gives me this. He gives me this fucking little card, like a little postcard almost, that says Homeland Security. And he says, send any information you have to this, but I can't tell you anything. I said, yeah, okay. And he said, and what do these guys do? I said, they have like a little bullshit radio show. They talk shit about me every week. They just hate me. They don't like what I do. So I know for a fact they sent an email to y'all. And he goes, okay, take this. So I leave. I make it to my gate in time. Thank God that one was delayed too, so I could make it. By the way, at this point, like when that happened, I literally thought the whole shit was over. I was like, if Scott Johnson actually is the reason I don't make it through to the U.S., I'm going to fucking I quit, you know? I look at the card that he gives me, and it's all in French. Now, you know, I took French in school. I'm a little bilingual. But I was like, I'm not going to take the time to translate out this whole thing, file a report, do. I already made it through. They already cleared me. So fuck it. There's no point. Tossed it. Because I have no criminal record. There's nothing on me. It's just some crazy kook that's talking about me on the internet. So the worst thing that he did was get me in that room for like 10 or 15 minutes. I sat there eating M&Ms, chilling. A nice little break to rest my legs, and then I got a great story out of it. So that's all you did, Scott. That's all you did.
I got to get the bag.
Yeah, you didn't. So you blew it. Yeah. Yep.
Yeehaw! It's bull wrangling time.
How funny would it be if Tex got in trouble with the feds for false reporting? Yep. So I definitely snitched. I definitely said, yeah, it's Scott Johnson and Peter Mingles. Panda said, if he told Customs you intended to work in the U.S. and not pay taxes, they would be all over you. Oh, I'm sure he sent them multiple emails. I'm sure he told them a bunch of stuff, bro. So, yeah. I know, yeah. On their next episode of BFR, they're probably going to talk about how I was detained at the border and whatever. So, Scott, you know, I will say congratulations. You did get me slowed down a little bit, but ultimately you failed. And I have to assume that it was because of Scott's email that this happened, because 0 times in my life have I ever been questioned beyond that first little window where they ask you what you're doing, why you go into the country. And on my way back, there was no problems either. So I got the green check mark. Yeah. I hope, I mean, that would be funny if he got in trouble for false reporting. That'd be hilarious. So yeah, he, Savannah, he definitely be taking it too far, but that ain't nothing new. So if he lied to DHS and Customs, he could be charged with a felony. Let him get charged. If it's random, they will tell you. So if they never said you were randomly selected, it's probably text. Yeah. So that's what happened. Conference went great. Catching you back up now to what happened after the conference. After the conference, I did get to fulfill that goal of having dinner with, these gentlemen who I look up to and respect. There was a dinner. I'm gonna leave out some names here because, again, some of the folks who were at the conference and at the following dinner or whatever, they were there in an official capacity. So I don't know if I'm at liberty to say, oh yeah, we were chopping it up with such and such. I'm not gonna say their names because I'm just gonna play it safe. Okay, I don't want to be the guy that was like saying too much and then I don't get invited back or nobody trusts me or whatever. But I can say for sure that a few people who were there, Doug, Bill, and another gentleman who I had not had the pleasure of meeting before, Peter, named Peter Vandernat. You guys can look him up. He used to be an economist for the FTC. He used to work for the FTC, and he had if you guys saw him in the conference, he had a really good presentation. He's a really good speaker. He had a really good presentation about pyramid schemes and really good guy. Really, really. I am remiss that I didn't get a picture with him. I got pictures of him and the fellas, but I didn't get one with him. So next year, Peter, we'll do that. I know he's not fucking watching, but next year I'll get one with Peter. And there was some other people there at the dinner, but I'm not gonna say. But it was a big special cloth alert, big cinema movie talk at that table. I'll tell you that much. So yeah. Do I have anti-MLM stickers on the merch store? Do I? I don't know. I'm going to add those. I'm going to add the stickers. I really want to put the pins up on there, but the carrier I use doesn't offer pins, so I will put stickers because I know they do that. Scott was rubbing his hands together like a villain after shooting off those emails. Yep. Yeah, hilarious. I can just hear his little laughter after shooting off the emails. Scott, inmate Johnson. Hilarious. Damn, that's scary, Catherine. They searched your stuffed animals when you were 10. All right, so was that the guy before you? I don't think so. He was the first presenter of the day, I think. Yes, actually, you know what? He might have been Aaron. Me and Philip are still best friends, MMMM. We're going to go for lunch tomorrow. And then the next day after the conference, I got to give a big shout out to my boy, Mr. Sacco. If you guys see Mr. Sacco in the Discord, make sure you give him a big up because he lives out there and he invited me to, show me around some of the touristy spots. And we just spent the whole day together yesterday walking around. I haven't walked like that since I was like, it was like a Disneyland level of walking that I did. It was disgusting. But he showed me the subway. He showed me, I tried Shake Shack for the first time, which was pretty bomb. We had that for lunch. Then we went to the Lincoln Memorial, the big statue of Lincoln. We went to the White House. We went to the Washington Monument. We went to the Capitol building. We're going to storm the Capitol. They stormed the Capitol. The Capitol ain't fucking playing. They have that shit all like fenced up and scaffoldings, and it was crazy. So we went to the Capitol building. We went all over, man. And then we went to a museum, the American History something museum. I was so tired, man. There was one point at the museum, I found this exhibit that had like a bunch of TVs, like a display with a bunch of TVs stacked on top of each other. And it was about like World War II and nukes and stuff. And I sat at that exhibit for probably half an hour sitting on that couch, just resting my legs. And like, I could have fallen asleep, honestly. And there was so many people. People at the conference told me that that would have been a good day to go and see stuff because it was like chill. There was like a whole bunch of different schools that were doing like their 8th grade field trip at the museum. I guess it was spring break, so there was a bunch of people from out of state there. Just like everywhere you went was flooded, and it was so disgustingly cold. And I say that as a guy who is from the place where it's routinely the coldest place in the world each winter, snow up to your nips, and like just icy, you know, you could die if you go outside levels of cold. But what made that worse was it was so windy. So windy, I could have, if I had my back to the wind, I could have laid down backward and it would have kept me standing upright. It was so windy. It just, my face and my ears and my nose were just numb from the wind. And I thought it was going to be nice. I didn't know what to expect. I'm wearing like a t-shirt and a thin jacket over top and no beanie or hat or mask or anything. I was like, oh, I'm coming from the West Coast where it's covered in snow. The East should be the opposite. Doesn't know how science works. Doesn't know how the rotation of the Earth works.
God did.
Wow.
Here's another 50. I'm feeling generous.
Wow. Scared the shit out of me, but wow. Thank you, Wavy AF. Wow, for real though. Thank you, Wavy AF. Wow. My heart is actually racing from how scared that God did sound alert got me. But dude, it was great. And then after we had run around all day, he took me out to an amazing dinner at this place. I forget what it was called, but we had a beautiful birthday meal. We had this chicken and waffles, which was so good, with mac and cheese and green beans. And then the other dish that we shared was the steak and shrimp. Wow, man. Wow. So good. It was so good. Such a special experience. And then I was up late that night again, packing and just decompressing from the whole thing, and you know, dumping photos from my memory card onto my laptop just to be safe. And then, you know, it's probably 2 a.m. again when I went to bed last night. Today again, up at like, you know, 8, which I was pissed off because my first flight got delayed so much that I probably could have slept like an extra 2 hours. So woke up again early, went to the airport, traveled all day today, had no premium economy, no first class. Both flights that I was on were... Wow. Legend Gaming,
Don't
bro.
interrupt.
Can't believe that. Legend. Wow, it's like the old days, bro. Legend hasn't dropped a big bag like that in a minute, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy. Legend Gaming was on a bit of a sabbatical of bag, you know. But wow, thank you, Legend. That's amazing. Legend, in case y'all don't know, oh wait, hold up. That wasn't even Legend. Fuck, I take that back, Legend. I take that back. You know who that was, bro? So when Legend Gaming donates, he often uses the screen name on his donation of Panda Bear. And now I guess Panda is doing it back because that dono of $100 saying don't interrupt, which also you did interrupt, but all good, was from Panda Bear. Panda, thank you, bro. Wow. Oh my God. Nonsense. Thank you so much, bro. You're a mad youth for that. You're a madman. Wow. Wow. Silicon Valley says Toronto wind sucks. Yep. The Northeast is cold. Speaking from experience, God did. Yes. Wow. Thank you guys. You guys are amazing for real. What a great birthday. I've barely talked to anyone today, except people saying, "Let me see your boarding pass." So this is nice getting to chat with you guys here for my birthday. Panda is a real one. If you see Panda in the Discord, make sure you bow down and give him a little big up as well. For sure. Thank you, Panda. My flight's back today. I would have upgraded to the premium economy again, but my check-in became available while I was out doing stuff yesterday, so I didn't really get a chance to like sit down and check in. So by the time I got there today, all the seats were already set and both flights were packed to the brim. So no special treatment. But my neighbors that I sat next to were decent. I don't even remember who I sat next to on the first flight. The second flight, there was some lady who was like doing some big city planning stuff I seen over on her laptop. And the first flight, I don't even fucking remember, to be honest. It's all a blur. But I watched Black Adam on the plane today. I don't even know what sound effect to put there because it was just kind of like, it was a pretty forgettable experience, honestly, and like kind of quite cheesy. And I actually, this is so cringe, I was watching it only because I was like, let me just check it off the list to say I watched it and gave it a fair shot. But I would have never rented it. You know, that's why I never went to see it in theaters. Like, I wasn't going to spend money to see it, but like, if it's on an airplane, I'll watch it. The lady that was sat next to me, okay, so let me tell you guys something. That donation that says from Panda Bear is actually from Legend Gaming as Panda Bear, because he was not going to be upstaged by Panda Bear's dono. And I don't know about y'all, but this looks like it might be a good old-fashioned dono war. Legend and Panda both in for 100 right now. Wow, thank you, Legend. If y'all don't know, Legend Gaming is... I probably wouldn't even still be doing YouTube if it weren't for Legend Gaming, because Legend Gaming has dropped the most amount of donations ever. He first donated to me on September 28th, 2019, and he has donated the most as well. So if you guys see Legend Gaming in the Discord, roll out the red carpet for Legend Gaming. React to his messages with a heart or a thumbs up or a fire emoji or something, because Legend Gaming, you know, he does it big. I'm surprised he didn't donate $101. Yeah, me too, Panda. Me too. Amazing. When will I upload the conference video? In the next couple of days. Panda, I finally got you. So true. You really did. I usually do check right away, yeah. Sorry, I trusted Legend because it's my birthday, you know. Emily says, happy birthday. Thank you, Emily. Thank you. Wavy says, I'm in for 100 too. That's true. Damn. Legend, Panda, and Wavy AF are the three like horsemen of the bagpocalypse, just holding up the stream on their shoulders right now. Impersonation, dono war. Yeah. Oh, man. Appreciate you, Catherine. See you later. And Tenzing, see you later. Appreciate you. I watched Black Adam. And Black Adam was an okay movie. Very forgettable. Thank you, Lucy and Voldy. Was that actually all? See, now I'm paranoid. Now I have to check everybody who donates and see if it's actually who they say. Yes, it was. Okay, good. What made me embarrassed while watching Black Adam was that I was watching it almost like ironically. And the woman who was sat next to me kept looking up from her laptop to my like TV in front, and it was like I felt more embarrassed than if I had been like watching adult films, because I had the headphones in and she's just seeing Dwayne Johnson like do his cheesy like slow, there was so much slow motion and like zap people and just brutalities, and I was like, oh my god, this woman probably thinks I'm the biggest fucking douchebag just watching this mindless action movie. But she doesn't like, what was I supposed to do? Pause it and be like, just so you know, I don't actually like this. It's sort of a meme because Black Adam, like, you know, it famously didn't do well, but The Rock tried to lie about it. And then, like, what was I going to do? So, you know, what can I do? Meek got his cult member tee. I love that, Meek. Yes, thank you. Thank you, CJE Badass. All right, let's move on with it. Let's listen to the most recent episode of Building Fortunes Radio. Yes, I know you want it. We're finally at that point in the stream, an hour in. You know, I'm sure she doesn't care. Yeah. Well, still. All right. Send me the link, somebody. Who's got it? I heard some clips from this, I won't lie, but I haven't heard the full episode. So let's see. Let's see it. Let's see it. All right, here we go. Building Fortunes Radio. This is their most recent episode where it was already guaranteed that I was going to be on the conference, unless, of course, they read Scott Johnson's email and decided to... Sorry, unless they stopped me from going into the country, which they didn't. Oh, and by the way, one more thing about the conference and Scott Johnson. When I got to the conference, I'm not going to name names, but pretty much everybody was like, so that Scott Johnson guy's a fucking weirdo, huh? Got him. Got him.
Gotcha.
I take responsibility.
Shut up, bitch! You're wrong! You're fucking poor!
I mean, everybody, bro. Everybody had, and also everybody had a story about him. Everybody was like, yeah, he emailed me 2 years ago with like some insane fucking rant about something or other, and I just ignore him. Everybody knew his ass. I'm telling you, bro, there was people from the FTC, attorney generals, professors, academics, people from like consumer protection groups. Everybody knew who this motherfucker was, and in the worst way. Scott and Peter, why do you guys are like the most toxic couple ever. Scott Johnson, you hate the tool scam so much, right? But don't you find it ironic that Peter, his whole business is selling leads? Is that not a tool? Is that not part of the tool scam, selling leads? I'm not trying to trap you or play like a gotcha, because I know you're watching. Genuine question. How is selling leads not a tool, not part of the tool scam? And also, Scott, you realize Peter is just using you for money, right? Because you pay him to run this show. You could do it for yourself for free on YouTube, and it would be way better quality than what you do on Building Fortunes Radio. Over to you, Peter. Over to you, Peter. Back to you, Peter. Peter, Scott makes you look so fucking bad that the only reason people don't fuck with you and let you get your foot in the door is because of him and his madness and his emails that he sends people and shit. So both you guys are literally sabotaging each other by your continued involvement with one another. Hey, Peter, do you even know what Scott looks like? Have you guys ever even fucking met in person? I say you just cut your losses and go your separate ways, because this shit ain't working out. All that's happened is my shit keeps growing and doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling. Okay? Your shit keeps devolving because now your show isn't even about MLM or business. It's just about me. Your show is just about me. My shit keeps doubling and doubling. I get to go to the conference. You don't get to go to the conference. I'm expanding my career and whatever. I'm finna go start doing, I'm gonna do a TED Talk this year probably. I'm gonna do public speaking engagements, da-da-da-da-da. Y'all ain't doing dick. So, you guys are literally just like fodder for my stream at this point. Actually, not even at this point. From the first time anybody in my community heard your guys' names, you've been fodder for my stream. You guys contribute nothing. And every time you think you got something, it turns out to be a huge L. It blows up in your face. So, this conference is a great example. Y'all tried to email the U.S. Customs, U.S. Border Patrol to not let me into the country. Bro, I went and I made it, and I did the conference, and I built relationships with important people, and I got to go have dinner with these people, and I got to do an amazing interview with Doug Brooks, and I had a nice time just like seeing the city as well. Oh shit. Sounds like I'm up. Oh shit, and my cult is growing? Oh shit. Oh, Starla Marie just joined the cult on top of everything?
Marco.
Wow. All right. All right. But y'all keep doing your thing, though. Y'all keep doing your thing. Thank you, Starla. Are we going to round out this Dono Goal, just make it an even 5? What are we saying? Okay. Checkmate, lol. I hope you guys went back and watched the stream I uploaded on Saturday. It's an old stream that actually took place in 2021. It's the origin of the Scott and Peter beef. Attorney General wearing the Losing Fortunes radio tee. Oh, yeah, it's coming. Scott. And, bro, Bill Keep was so happy to do the photo where it says unread. What up, legend? Not to mention his radio show, basically a tool. Yeah. Peter's the only person that entertains Scott because he pays him to. So sad. Wow, Scott Johnson, your only friend is you have to pay to have him. Ah! Oh my God. How did I not think of it like that before? This guy's been doing this show over 10 years. Wow. Oh my goodness.
I take responsibility.
Yes. Thank you, legend. Oh my God. Peter on Saturday night. Sorry, honey, I have to talk to this lunatic about the tool scam for the millionth time tonight. Shuffles over to office with the head down. Yeah. One of you guys said an amazing comment last week. You said, or maybe 2 weeks ago, I don't know. Imagine these guys going to their wives every weekend and their wives are just like, hey, honey, how was talking about that kid on YouTube again? Just like every week. Trey Tino, thank you. He says it was super informative, that upload of that old stream.
I take responsibility.
Uh-oh. Legend dropping another gifted. I love that. Growing the cult. Let's grow the cult. I've been alive 10,000 days. Is that true? 365 times 27? 98.55. Okay, so you're wrong. Daisy B, congrats. You got a membership. Building Friendship Radio. Yeah. Thank you, Tony Galvin. Thank you, Tony. Alternatively, buying Friendship Radio. All right. Let me look at it here. Scott Johnson's radio show. The most recent episode is called, and this is I don't know why it's called this, Scott Johnson and Peter Mingles on anti-MLM wokeness and mental illness of YouTubers and academics. I already know where they're going with this. Let's check it out.
Welcome to Building Fortunes Radio. Make sure you check us out at buildingfortunesradio.com. Along with our marketing partners,
I love this song.
We're here to help our PM Marketing Network Leads customers build their businesses and make the world a better place. At Building Fortunes, we know how much your business means to you and the people important to you. So spread the word, tell a friend, join our newsletter, and go make a difference in your world. Now on to our show with your host, Peter Mingles.
Hello, everyone. Peter Mingles here. You're listening to us on Building Fortunes Radio. It's www.buildingfortunesradio.com. It's a Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. on the Pacific.
Why even say that?
I'm sorry, on the Central Side. And we are here every Saturday at this time with Scott Johnson. Actually, this is Scott Johnson's radio show. And the way this whole thing got started, because I know we have some new people listening in, is
No, the fuck you don't. Actually, you do, because I uploaded a stream about y'all earlier that night. So you actually did.
Building Fortunes Radio, the domain name, because we wanted to be able to have a platform to be able to speak our minds about many things. And one of them was MLM and home-based businesses.
Thank you, Ignacio.
My background being in direct sales and direct sales management.
North Korean radio, for real.
I was always somewhat put off by the way a lot of MLMers do things wrong in this industry. There's a weakness, if you will, of some things that happen. So when I first got started with this, because I came from a strong direct sales background, I knew the difference. And I've always learned that I use an expression called there's no strength in weakness. And I was very tired of a lot of the...
No way. That was your big bar? There's no strength in weakness? No fucking shit. They're the opposite word. They mean the opposite thing.
Let's call it
There's no banana in oranges. Yeah. There's no health in sickness. Yep. I guess so.
Truths, lies, or other things that were happening in the industry. So I got tired of people being one side or the other. Like there's either pro-MLM or there's anti-MLM, and I'm like, you guys have to talk about the industry and how things work if you're going to be able to make it work and make it better. So we did a radio show with an MLM critic.
What up, bad dog? He says, I got to work tomorrow morning and I'm going to lose an hour of sleep because Marco's cult tactics. So true. So true. All right. Can somebody tell me when they're talking about me? Family-friendly elevator music. Then cut to 5 minutes in. Peter, Marco's a fucking idiot. Yeah. Appreciate you, Eliza. The quality of the Peter Mingles phone call on speaker sounded exactly like the actual radio show. There's no cock and balls. Yeah. Does Scott update the site? His last name. Oh my goodness. Scott Johnson's last name is wrong in this episode. You're so right. Oh no. Look, Scott Johnson. Scott Johnson. Oh my goodness. Scott, you're paying for this? Motherfucker can't even spell your goddamn name right, goddamn. Scott Johnson. And every other word is capitalized.
His name is Roger Van Vlissingen, and I'm probably mispronouncing his first name. His American
Speak our minds about many things. Every episode about Marco, yeah? What up, Abby? I've used children's toy walkie-talkies with better quality than their mics. Worse than voicemail in the 90s. Ah! Scott Johnson.
His name is Roger, but it's spelled Rogier. And if you can figure out how to spell Van Vlissingen on your own. But Roger, smart dude. I mean, he's writing for Seeking Alpha, which is
it's
an
pronounced
internet website.
Your Son, and it's German. Sorry, Panda. Didn't mean to discriminate there.
That talks about publicly traded companies. And he had very critical things to say about Herbalife and Vima, although Vima is not a publicly traded company. Herbalife was, and he was drawing some parallels because Vima had just been temporarily shut down by the FTC. And anyway, so I asked him to join me on a radio show.
No, it ain't temporarily shut down, baby. It's shut down. Vima is shut down, and they now are a single level only retail company. It's actually called isn't it actually now called Verve Retail or Vima Retail? When you go to Vima's site, Vima. Yeah, it's called Vima Retail to specify that they are just selling. Oh wow, they're selling Beachbody, now just called Body. It's all connected. So Vima now just sells the stuff. You can now just buy the product. I remember seeing these products when I was a kid. Yeah. You cannot join as a distributor for Vima now. You can just buy the product and that's it. Wow. All good.
Oh, and he brought back up with a gentleman named E. Robert Smith. And for those people that don't know E. Robert Smith, I think he wrote a book called Downline. And through that radio show, Scott Johnson had called me up and he says,
New character, Scott Johnson. Marco Johnson. I'm Peter Migos, and this is the Scott Johnson radio. Peter Migos. Thank you, Starla. Appreciate that. Yeah, the channel members be going crazy and the mods.
Oh, there's a lot of things that you guys talked about, but there's one big thing that you missed.
Is it the tool
I said,
scam?
What's that, Scott? And he said, the tools scam. Well, I had hired...
How did I know?
How did I know? I'm using the wrong verbs 3 times.
Beachbody.
Myself with Amway, and mostly because as I was in Amway, the upline that I had wasn't really focused on teaching me about compensation plan or about anything other than recruiting and bringing people through the system.
That bitch is bad and bougie. Picking up tools with the Uzi. Oh, man, yeah. How many typos are in the Marco Gay website? Too many.
And I didn't need the system. I understood the importance of the system. I needed product knowledge for my own benefits if I was going to be able to build a sales force of Amway distributors. I needed to know how they got paid, what the products were, why buy one versus the other, and all those types of things. And all they really cared about was myself going to the Nest function, myself buying bunches of tools so I can give them away to my downline, because I was going to build a big downline. Therefore, I needed to have a whole bunch of tools. So buy them in advance. If you're so confident, buy them in advance. I said, I don't have any
Thank
problem
you, Spencer.
with buying stuff.
Yeah.
But the problem
they don't have
I
listeners.
is, what else are we doing here besides bringing people to these books, tapes, and functions? So I quit 3 times.
I'm just going to click to a random spot and see if the name Marco is being said.
And that's another whole radio show. And the reality is that Scott and I just started doing these things. We started at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We moved it back to 8 p.m. Eastern.
I love when Scott first enters every episode. Like, he's just holding his tongue because he's got a week's worth of shit to say about me. And just like, yeah, thanks, Peter. Here we go.
For when it's darker earlier, and we'll probably move back to 8:30 when it's lighter longer, which is in a couple of weeks. And the reality is that I enjoy thoroughly having Scott Johnson as a guest host on his own radio show that we do. So if you go to buildingfortuneradio.com and search for Scott Johnson, you'll be able to hear this as well as all the previous radio shows that we've done. And we've opened doors. I know I'm giving you a little bit longer of an explanation.
This is so bad. Yeah, that site is so bad, Meek. AllMLMfacts.org. So terrible. If you guys went and rewatched the... it was either on this episode that they did or on that original stream where Peter says he doesn't actually know how many people listen to it. He doesn't have the data, the analytics, but he just says, well, I don't even care. So he copped out, but let's see.
We have some brand new people listening in. We've opened doors into some pretty heavy-duty and very interesting conversations. We've drawn parallels with Nexium, which was a MLM company, believe it or not. Probably one of the most legitimate MLM companies when it comes to retail sales to outside customers that was out there.
Okay, Silica Valley says she sent me a few timestamps. Was it on Discord or... Let me see. Hold on. Let me check, Silica.
I sent you an IGDM after watching the origin story. Scott is a piece of shit. I hope you read my message, offline of course. And happy birthday.
Hey, thank you. Yes, I will read the message. Of course I will. These past few days I was traveling, so I wasn't really up on my DMs and stuff, but I will do it, I promise. Thank you so much for that. Close, we're close. Nexium is a legit MLM. Kinka, thank you, big dog. Thank you. Marco's stream is without a doubt their biggest audience. Oh, bro. Not even comparable. All Marco's fans are so stupid giving him money. They're as dumb as he is.
But they had this slave, trafficking, sex trafficking kind of, not sex trafficking, basically a sexual slaveual, kind of a situation going on. The gentleman went to jail.
Okay, Silica, I see the tabs. You said like at 1 and 1:10. I'm guessing that means 1 hour, right? Not 1 minute, because we already listened to the first minute.
Or divine intervention. I knew a gentleman who actually worked with Keith Raniere before Keith Raniere became Nexium. So we've done radio shows with that gentleman. We've done radio shows on child sex trafficking. Believe it or not, there's a lot of parallels to the cult-like nature of this industry. And we'll talk about. And if you listen to all of our radio shows, which
executed properly, there's no retail sales hardly.
This motherfucker always doesn't shut the fuck up about the tool scam and retail sales.
Came from Amway. And so that's what people are led to believe because they just don't talk about it. Obviously, they're not proud of it. You would think they would be, right? If there was a legitimate business out there that you were making all this money from the tools, you would be talking about it. You would be proud of it. You would be showing people the potential, how much money they can make.
Peter is showing people. He has idiots like you paying him to do the radio shows.
Hey, Rich DeVos, I'm such a nice guy. Half of your volume going to...
There's no way they got through this long of the episode without talking to me. I'm actually going to be fucking offended.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you why Marco got out of making the anti-MLM a couple of years.
Here we go. I knew it.
He did pretty well. But he got tired of it. He got tired of all.
Here we go. Okay, so I knew it. They talk about me within the first 20.
That price that the distributors are paying for the products or services are legitimate because you can find similar products, similar prices in a variety of other outlets. But the addition,
yeah, Peter on this episode gets a soundboard, like air horns and all the shit that I have. Their shit is devolving just into madness at this point. I love it.
Money is just like the chain letter. It's just like the airplane game.
What up, Danny?
It's just like the gifting schemes we see today. And so
thank you, Mary. Happy belated birthday to you, Mary.
They try to use the products to camouflage a pure play product-less MLM scam. But once you see...
Oh, no way. You can adjust the playback speed. This changes everything. Let's catch up.
What's going on, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty easy. Once you understand, what's happening with those expensive products, and they cannot sell, in my opinion, you cannot sell on a widespread basis. You'll always find good salespeople. They can sell like Eskimos, as they say. But if you have a large number of people, you just can't do it. On after MLMs for not having a minimum.
Oh, great stuff. Nope. So we usually cover the first part of our radio shows.
Here we go. This is going to be about me. Thank you, X Gonzalez. Appreciate that. Congrats, Amber, for getting the membership from X Gonzalez. Look at how the cult supports each other.
I take responsibility.
See? That's so sweet. Take your responsibility like that. Wow. Wow, unique. They do name drop legal stuff early on just as a precaution. I don't give a fuck. I'm not saying it. Fuck them.
Because we have new people listening in, and they're really not sure how this stuff works. So if you've heard this stuff before, let it sink in. But there's the stuff that Scott references, and we're going to move on to whatever else we're going to move on to next. And that's where we usually start talking about whatever might be happening in the industry. And I don't know where you want to kick it off, Scott, but we can kick it off wherever you like. And let's go.
Yeah, I think I'll kick it off with I saw a recent video by Always Narco.
I knew it. I love when they're like, you want to talk about Marco? You want to talk about Marco a little bit? Back to you, Scott.
Do you like me?
Yeah, Meek, I just looked at that screenshot in the Losing Fortunes radio tab. Make sure y'all join the Discord if you're not in there yet. But, yeah, Peter, Scott's something else.
Always Marco on YouTube. And he was playing some videos of Eric Worre, who's a complete idiot also. But he's this big pro MLMer.
I love how Scott Johnson, bro, I actually see Scott Johnson shitting on, people in the MLM industry as much as anti-MLM people. He thinks everyone but him is stupid, whether they're pro or anti-MLM. He's confused.
He does generic training for MLMers. He charges a lot, like $1,000 for 2 or 3 day session. And he makes all of his money.
Thank you, Danny.
That I know about from that. Now that actually makes him better than the Amway, what I call LCKs, lying cowardly kingpins, the people at the top that are making all this money on tools, because the people in Amway are lying about it. They're giving the impression that
thank you, Sam Stark, bro. Appreciate you, bro.
The success came from Amway, but it's pretty obvious. I mean, Eric doesn't even have to say that he's making.
Yeah, Silica. I love how they start off saying we'll talk about him later, then they just dive in. Thank you, Ignacio. They get under the blanket to talk about Marco. Yeah, at the sleepover. LCK. That sounds like something Infrabren would say. Them little LCKs, lying conniving kingpin or whatever he said. Lying cowardly kingpin.
Making his lifestyle from
appreciate you, X Gonzalez.
Sessions,
appreciate
MLM
you. Have a good night.
Sessions, because it's obvious. That's what he does. I mean, it's he charges a lot of money. He makes a lot of money. And it's just obvious that that's, what's going on. He doesn't have an MLM that he's in to back up his argument that, oh, no, I make most of my money or all of my money from the MLM. He's just out there doing MLM training. Now, it's totally false training. It's terrible training. And Marco played a recent bit of a video from Eric Worre, where Eric said, we really need to stop calling this MLM. We need to call it network marketing because what is it that we do? And I could have stopped him on the very first sentence, by the way, Eric Worre. He said, we do 3 things. We sell products to customers. We sponsor others who can also sell products to customers. And the third and last thing that we do is we provide leadership to make it more efficient and effective, to make numbers 1 and 2 more efficient and effective. And I would have stopped him right at the very first sentence when he said, the first thing we do is sell to customers. And like I just described, no, you don't. It comes nowhere near 50% of the total volume that you're selling to customers. Most of the volume is internal sales, if you will. Internal consumption is a better word.
Get back to me.
It's not really sales.
Scott, get back to what matters here.
Distributors buying
the beef.
Internal consumption, and there are some legitimate reasons to do that. You do want to become familiar with the products. You do want to, understand how well they work so that you can describe them to whether it's a new distributor or a customer, whoever it is. It totally makes sense to buy the products to do those things. But I would have stopped Worry right at that point and say, okay, you name me an MLM that has a lot of retail sales.
Yeah, I bet you would.
Because
stop
I can
him,
tell you,
Scott.
I don't think it exists. And I'm open-minded. I'm willing to learn about an MLM that does have a lot of retail sales. I'm okay with finding one that's legitimate. But, always narco, skip right over that. He had no idea take at that point and object to that statement because he's always stupid. I mean, the guy's just really stupid. And
Say why. Say why I'm stupid. They don't ever explain.
An example, I could go on and
always
on
Sharko,
and on
always Darko.
How stupid narco is.
FLBT, forgetful little boy toy. You're charging us for this? Yeah. No, he's talking about Eric Worre. But yeah, I am charging you, Danny. Streamlabs.com/Marco54/tip.
On all these different videos that he's by the way, he's kind of refocused his channel. He was focused on making, what would you call it, quote unquote songs, rap music. Never got any traction. He tried to be a comedian. He tried to, stand up comedian.
Exactly, Panda. Like I feel like I've even heard this same spiel before. Panda says, like, it's not just slightly different stuff every time. He says the same fucking thing every time.
Tried different things, and all of them failed. And so he went back to...
Thank you, Snowy. Thank you guys for the birthday wishes.
Because he did have some videos...
Yes, Jay, he calls me always narco because apparently I'm a huge drug kingpin.
A couple years ago, that did pretty well. But he got tired of it. He got tired of all the mostly women that are anti-MLMers because they're always just going at each other and just sniping and snarky and, doxing each other and putting each other down.
Funny, I didn't even know about that happening first of all, when I took my little break for a year, I wasn't even really involved like that in the anti-MLM community, so to speak. And when I came back, I wasn't aware of I thought everybody was friends.
You would think that everybody would be focused against the MLMs, but no, it's like, two cats in a room fighting all the time. And that's what they do is just...
If I could also jump in on his buddies, he considers CoffeeZilla one of his buddies, and he did a radio show with CoffeeZilla, and CoffeeZilla said, hey, man, you better watch out, And he's like, I'm not worried about these things. Fuck them, sue me. I mean, those are his words. Fuck them, sue me. They can come after me. And then he found out that talking trash to people that will deliver can mess him up. So there was a company that actually sued him into oblivion, and that's what made him stop doing the MLM videos. He wouldn't stop because of anything other than he was going to get sued again because he was threatening to come out with another video and another company was going to threaten to sue him. So Marco is a little punk, I'll just say it like that, who talks trash, especially to people like me and you because he's a few thousand miles away. And when he said to CoffeeZilla on his show, well, fuck them, they can sue me. I don't have anything. They proved that sometimes Marco...
He's talking about CoffeeZilla's live show, The Drip, that he was doing last year. I've been on there a few times.
People actually do follow through, and they will sue you into oblivion, and then you're too stupid because you come back for more.
Ain't no oblivion. I'm here, baby. I'm here. It's my birthday. I'm chilling.
And you think it's not going to happen again, and you think you might have some friends that might be attorneys or other people that might be able to give you guidance. We'll see where that lands you when somebody else sues you into oblivion, or many people sue you into oblivion, because some people might save you against one person, but either many people or many companies is pretty hard to defend against. So, Scott, I just wanted to kind of add that on. And one other thing, too, about Eric Worre. Eric Worre was partners a lot with a gentleman named Jeff Olson. And if you've ever heard Jeff Olson speak, they were in Quorum, and then they started a company together called TPN, the People's Network. These are things that Marco has never heard of, you know, the great researcher that he's in. And then TPN wound up splitting up, and they wound up doing something else. It was actually bought by Prepaid Legal. Actually, Paul J. Meyer first, and then Prepaid Legal a little bit later on. But the reality is that Jeff Olson is an excellent speaker. Jeff Olson can weave words together like few people can in this industry. Now, you may not always agree with the way he runs his business, and he runs Neora right now, and they're tangling with FTC. But if you ever have a conversation with Jeff Olson, and by the way, personalities aside, he's not known to be a nice man, but when it comes to talent, Jeff Olson knows how to weave. I'm sorry. What did I just lose? Yeah, Jeff Olson. He knows how to weave those words.
Happy birthday, pimp. Does he call you narco because you're a drug dealer, or is it simply because he can't spell? FM in the ear so they can hear ya coming. Partying face party popper.
Together and speak eloquently. Now, Eric Worre.
No way the mic was muted. No way, bro. I haven't done that in a long time, bro. What the fuck? My bad. My fault. Yes, I was saying thank you, Bad Dog Sports. I appreciate you. And then I said to Panda, I was reading Panda's comment where he said, you think you might sound mysterious because you might add the word might to every sentence, but you might not realize you might be the idiot. Yeah, they do that. And I was muted. So always muted Marco and all good. And he's just an idiot because he always mutes himself.
Has been an asshole since anybody's ever known him. Most people just think he's a big ass. Now, they kiss up to him because he makes a lot of money, and he gives people a platform.
Wait, are they talking about me now, or who are they talking about?
Sometimes. But the reality is that Eric Worre followed a similar
Muted your own radio show. Woo!
Program. And then there was a void in the speaking circuit, and to his credit.
Hey, Meek said I muted myself 2 streams ago. That's long for me.
So I'm telling you, to his credit, Eric Worre jumped into that void and filled that void when no one else could. So I will give him credit. He has come very successful financially. In the path that he's chosen, it's just that the stuff that comes out of this guy's mouth, by comparison, is just absolutely almost sometimes on the always stupid Marco level. The stuff that this guy says, he contradicts himself in the same sentence. He says the most retarded things I've ever seen.
Whoa.
He totally thinks he is something that is smarter than he really is.
Boo.
And you can just listen to him enough to say, this guy's a buffoon. Like, this guy is a buffoon.
Buffoon,
so
jerk.
Marco says he could do what Eric Worre does. And the answer, of course you cannot. I just explained why you could, Marco. You could. Eric Worre is a buffoon. When he was once reached out, Scott, one of his famous quotes about, I forget what it was, but it was like, you couldn't defend MLM. And he says, well, if you can't defend it, promote it. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? This is Eric Worre. If you can't defend it, promote it? And I forgot what it was that they had tagged him on, but it was one of the anti-MLM girls. And the reality is that if you go for it and you build something, you can build a great big pile of money that takes advantage of a whole bunch of people. And until you get nailed, you'll be able to do it. And Eric Worre may have done something recently because he kind of became a chief marketing guy, maybe even a lead distributor. I don't know all the details for one network marketing company that's been tangled up with a whole bunch of stuff. And he put his name on it. Don't ask me why he put his name on it. Not a smart move, Eric. But the reality was he might actually get tangled down, like
what does this have to
maybe
do with
not
me?
criminally, but certainly civilly, by the FTC or the SEC, because what he was promoting was a known bad deal. So the reality is that, yeah, Marco, you could be Eric Worre because you can sling those sentences together, a lot of bullshit like you usually do. But the reality is that Eric Worre is nothing to look up to. Unfortunately, he has a very large audience, and the challenge is most...
Even muted, your sound quality is better than Peter's. Hilarious. Hilarious. Did he just say you have a big ass? Makes a lot of money, can't be talking about me. Peter wants his void filled so bad. Eric worries like a father to me, much wealthy, very spider legs. You guys are hilarious. The buffoonery. They're having trouble talking about you because of how well you did. See, this episode took place on Saturday before the conference. So this next episode coming up in a few days here that they do on the 18th will be them talking about my conference appearance.
MLM leaders are not leaders, so therefore they bring them to an Eric Worre's kind of a thing because they got to do something with them to try to keep them in this quote-unquote cult that they're in. So there is some things that make a lot of sense on what some anti-MLMers say. This is a cult, this is a following, this is a whatever. And then on the other side, there are some people, and it is a big minority that love the cult.
Big minority.
So some of them just love the cult. And for those people that love the cult, Eric Worre's GoPro and all the other stuff that he does fits them perfectly. And by my philosophy, and I don't know what yours is, Scott, so I'll ask, but if there's consenting adults and they all know what they're into and they're happy doing it, and at the end of the day you can say you spent all this money and you did all this stuff and blah, 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 and I don't see the value of it, but if you do, you're okay with that, and I'm okay with that, well, then that's fine. So there's a big minority of people that don't mind the cult-like functions that an Eric Worre brings. As a matter of fact, they love it. So they just love it. They just love it. So for them, everything I just said about Eric Worre, they're like, oh, my God, how can you say that? He's my hero. And he might be your hero for whatever reasons. And those are your reasons, not my reasons. So I'll leave it at that. So, Scott, do you want to jump in and comment on anything?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you why Marco got out of making the anti-MLM a couple years ago. It was that lawsuit from the I Am Academy folks. And now he's never said that word publicly because his lawyers told him, now don't say I Am Academy. And he's pretty much, with a couple of exceptions, kept away from the term lawsuit. He said a legal thing going on. And I think he slipped up just a couple times on that. But then he went on CoffeeZilla's show one time. Coffee had him on as a guest.
Happy birthday, Marco.
And CoffeeZilla had the...
Thank you, KDP. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, David, in the chat. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you. Big minority makes sense. We do love the cult. This is the one after where I responded to the one talking about his son. Yes, correct. Some MLMs are good at angle. Yep.
Actual lawsuit in the background, like the full screen background, they were all partially hiding with their bodies, but you could read a bunch of the words as he scrolled up and down. So it was pretty funny to watch that video from CoffeeZilla. And then the whole time, Marco was not able to admit that he was being sued by I Am Academy, which, by the way, is still open.
Right. Well, it's up on the screen. And by the way, Marcos has nothing. So what is I Am Academy going to go after? His previous earnings, nothing. Future earnings, very dismal. So he has nothing. So when he says it's still open, it's not closed. I mean, it's just the bottom line. They're keeping it open just to keep his mouth shut. So back to you, Scott.
Right. Yeah, they're just trying to keep him quiet. And he was pretty optimistic several months ago that it was going to be closed in a couple months, but it's still open. So, whatever happens with new things going on in the court, in the hearings and everything, he's got to pay lawyers to refute whatever's coming up. So they're just draining him. I mean, they're just draining him slowly and surely because he doesn't make much money. He begs for all of his money on his YouTube channel. He begged for all this money to go to Washington, D.C. for the conference, which is Monday. And you can see that conference. I think you can still sign up if you go to www.mlmconf for conference. So it's mlmconf 2023.org. So it's a .org website. And there's a sign up there where you can see it live, or within probably a month or two, all of the recordings will be posted online like they were for the first 2 years. In fact,
this is boring so far, but I know for a fact that people have sent me clips. They go crazy in this episode with sound effects. Like they get their own soundboard, which I think is just literally Peter playing off different YouTube tabs, like YouTube videos.
if you go to MLM Conference, spelling the word out, MLMconference.com, then you can see all of the videos from 2021 and 2022. This one is the first one that's down to 1 day. The other ones were 2 days. I think they're running out of things to talk about, to be honest with you, Peter. They're just not understanding. All of the participants, in my opinion, are not understanding that we already know enough about the problems. We need to start talking about solutions. And I could spend a few minutes here. I'll let you make some comments, but I could spend a few minutes here as far as what I would say if I was there.
Sure. So here's my stance. MLMconference.com it still has the like you said the previous conferences on there, and there's a lot of them, so it'll take you some time to go through, and you might pick and choose who you want to see, but whatever. There's a lot of good information there, so I'm going to say there's a lot of good information there. There's obviously some information I would disagree with, but there's some pretty good information there. So if you wanted a feeling of a backdrop of that side of the equation, that's fine. Mondays rather, is going to be interesting because there's some flack amongst the YouTubers or the influencers on the social media panel. So there's some flack there as well. They have a couple of FTC representatives. It'll be very interesting to see what they say. And it'll be interesting, most importantly, for those people that don't know, they might be referencing the Neora and the Success by Health trials in this conference. Now, to the best of my knowledge, neither of them have been finally settled, but I think Bill Keep and maybe one of the other or two or the other guys might have been expert witnesses there, so it'll be very interesting to see their perspective of what might be happening there. So that might be the new stuff that might be on there. And I signed up. Matter of fact, I bet you we were probably one of the first people to sign up. I was sitting here on Saturday.
I saw Scott and Peter in the chat, or not in the chat, but on Zoom you can see in the list of participants. I saw Peter Mingles, and then there was somebody in there whose name was listed as none of your business, and I can only assume that that was Scott Johnson.
It was my desk. I signed up right away, and when I went to the website, it still wasn't finished yet, so I think I was probably one of the first people to sign up. And I hope they don't block us because they could, but I hope they don't, so we get a chance to at least listen in. And I probably won't listen the whole entire day because I'm running a business, but I'll poke in and listen to some of the stuff as well, make some notes along the way, and hopefully be able to have access to the recordings when they're done in a couple of months and see what the other side seems to think. Now, when I say the other side, I don't mean the totally other side. There's a lot of stuff, Scott, that I'm sure they might bring up that we agree with, and there's a lot of stuff that we would probably have an interesting.
Peter's always trying to cover his own ass and like seem diplomatic and be like, well, we'd probably and I would probably agree with them, and I have some good points and I agree with a lot of them. And then Scott just comes in and totally gives him no chance to ever have like a real conversation with anybody.
Dialogue with, and there's some other things that I would totally disagree with. So from my perspective, I like to hear all sides because it kind of opens up my mind towards possibilities, and that seems to be a very different approach.
Exactly, Panda. They always end up unintentionally complimenting me. So funny.
I'll let you talk about your side, but I just laying this groundwork. Very different approach from their side, meaning as if you listen to the way I opened up the radio show, I said there's people that are pro-MLM and there's people that are anti-MLM, and there's very rarely anybody that's both, like that can sing both sides of the coin, understand how the industry works. This is an anti-MLM conference. There's probably no one going to say positive things about MLM on this conference, and that's a shame. But what?
Hello?
Maybe the FTC. Maybe the FTC might say some stuff.
What the fuck was that long ass silence?
Because they somehow, most of the times, obviously they allow MLMs to stay in business, so they have to be pro-MLM to a certain extent. But for the most part, it'll be, from all the speakers, you'll hear about all the horror stories. So back to you, Scott.
Yeah, in fact, one of the he's now a former FTC commissioner, was on the 2021 panel, and he said, we are supportive, we being the FTC, we are supportive of MLMs. We're not against MLMs. We just want you to do things right. Now, he doesn't go into the detail that we go into as far as defining what's right and what's wrong, but there's definitely support at the FTC for MLMs. And the biggest problem I have with these conferences is that they're really focused on the problems. They can go all day long, all day and night with all the problems, but there's hardly anyone that's focused on the solutions. And that's what's so frustrating is, we talked on a show a couple weeks ago, I think it was, where there was an FTC commissioner in 1975, almost a half a century ago, who made a comment along the lines of, well, we really need to...
The nurse came in to tell him it's an hour to bedtime.
To stop these things from happening. It's just taking way too long for us to analyze these things, and people get hurt in the interim, and we need to get our act together, basically. And that was almost a half a century ago, and here we are still talking about the problems. And no one hardly is talking about the solutions other than the anti-MLMers screaming, you got to shut down all MLM. That's the only solution, right? And that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So what I would have said if I was at this conference, and I'm sort of the guy that's not desired because I don't have any patience for someone who doesn't want to listen at all.
Yeah, that's why you're not desired. You're not at the conference, Scott, because nobody fucking wants you there because you have nothing of value to provide. I even talked to people at this conference who I had no idea that they knew of you, and they were like, yeah, that's the guy who's obsessed with like and I said, tool scam? They went, yeah, tool scam and lack of retail sales. I was like, yep, that's him. You are a running joke among even people at the FTC. So, love it.
And I just tune them out right away. I let them know very clearly that I don't agree with them, and I move on. Because I tried to be nice to several people years ago, and I found out that all of those people really weren't serious.
Peace out, Eliza.
They just wanted to chat for a little bit and then move on. So there's nobody that's around that's really serious about the solutions, in my opinion. And what the solutions are, it's really important that you have the right orientation to finding solutions. And let me draw a parallel here. When airplanes, were first invented and then they started dropping out of the sky, people said, well, that's really too bad. People got killed and, gee, that's really unfortunate. But then after a while, they started asking the questions, gee, I wonder why that happened. I wonder why that airplane fell out of the sky. And so they developed a formal process.
His analogy game is crazy.
Root cause analysis, where you look at all the evidence you can. You take the parts of the airplane.
Thank you, Eliza. Peace out. Peter Mingo sitting in his living room, whiskey in one hand, watching the Dolphins game on mute. So true, Scott. Yeah, I feel like, Peter's just uninvolved. Yeah, that's so funny, Panda. Wow, the visual of that. The Dolphins game on mute, or just low volume. So true, Scott. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Plane, for example, and spread them out in the big hangar.
They should do this as a FaceTime. They should do like a video podcast. That would really, I would actually unironically watch it, even if they weren't talking about me, but they are.
All spread out throughout the big hangar.
He was the actual test pilot with these analogies. So true. I have not got the cowboy hat yet, but I'm going to get it, Diego.
Floor, and you start to assign experts to look at each aspect. You're looking at mechanical engineers and metallurgy. You're looking at people that know aerodynamics, people that know electronics, people that know sensors, people that know all these little niche things that make up an airplane, and they're trained to recognize what's normal and what's not normal. Well, what we have with MLM...
The video would be 2 pixels, hilarious.
...is you got a bunch of people in there that have no expertise. They're just like bitter former MLMers, they're attorneys, they're academics. They're all these people who are experts in different areas other than being able to analyze MLM. And so they can't. They are unable to figure out what the solution is, because it would be like taking, just random people off the street and saying, hey, here's a wrecked airplane, go figure out what happened.
Oh my God.
They have no expertise. They have no idea to figure out what happened. They have no training in all these different areas that I just mentioned, all these technical areas. And so all they can do is say, boy, that's really a big mess. Look at that mess. Look at all these parts strewn out. This is really terrible. We should make sure no one ever flies again. This is the wrong thing. And why hasn't the FTC just shut down all the airline industry? Because this is a mess. It's just a big mess. Look at this mess. And that's all they do all day long in their anti-MLM screed. But they don't come to the solutions. Well, being trained in the root cause analysis through the nuclear power program, which I am formally in, I was trained in this formal process. And so I know how to take a situation and dissect it and boil it down to, okay, what is the fundamental issue here that caused this whole thing? There's other extraneous factors, of course, but you can always narrow down to a root cause, a single reason why this airplane crashed, why MLMs are scams. But you have to have someone that was in an MLM, right? You can't have somebody who was never in one. I mean, Robert Fitzpatrick was never in one, but he goes around like he's an expert, but he's not because he's never been in one. And I don't think he's really interested in solutions anyway. He's one of these.
This is the Dominic Izzo. You weren't in it, so you can't be an expert on it. Just like every paleontologist couldn't be an expert on dinosaurs because they've never met a dinosaur, or no less, they've never been a dinosaur. Or, the ultimate irony with Dominic is he was talking about women. He's never been a woman, as far as I know, and yet he loves to talk about women. So these people are selectively, like their analogies are selective. Their logic is selective, and their lack of logic is selective. If an analogy makes sense to them, if an analogy appears to support the thing that they are talking about, then they rock with it. If it doesn't, they don't rock with it. So, do you have to break your leg in order to be a doctor that helps someone with their leg, or to be able to put a cast on? Do you have to have cancer in order to have to treat somebody with cancer? It's just so fucking stupid. It's so fucking stupid.
There's no such thing as a good MLM. They shut them all down. The only thing that Robert did was he got caught up in the airplane game back in the 1980s. But again, that's one of those, no product MLM pyramids. So he really does not have the experience, nor is he interested, by the way.
Hey, Hannah, I also have no fucking idea what they're talking about right now. I just know it has something to do with me being a jerk.
For years and years and years, he'll never talk to me because he's already made up his mind. He doesn't want new information. He's the expert, and no one's going to change his mind. And of course, no one will if he never takes in new information. So it's one of those, it's a catch-22 type thing. But anyway, I did the analysis, and I am probably one of the few people, maybe the only people, who's willing to debate anybody from either side, whether they're pro-MLM or anti-MLM. I'm willing to debate them. I'm willing to actually lose and be wrong. I don't have that kind of an ego where, if I'm not right, I just lose it.
I don't have that kind of ego. If I'm wrong, I just lose it. Also, moments ago said nobody there from the FTC, Attorney General, scholars, academics, etc. Nobody knows the answer. I might be the only people in the whole world, not the only person, the only people in the whole world who knows. So yeah, no ego at all.
I'm willing to be wrong, but no one's been able to, match me as far as saying, hey, I'll debate you. Hey, come on this podcast.
You mentioned the lack of logic, but you still haven't mentioned the lack of retail sales. Sorry, Jared, my bad.
I'm perfectly
biggest cap of
capable of doing that on the fly. I don't need to prepare. You don't need to give me questions beforehand. You can just start.
Yeah, and here I thought I was going to build a fortune from these guys, Lamau.
And we'll go into it. And I've challenged many people over the years, and nobody's taken me up. There was that one woman, if you remember, I guess 3 or 4 years ago, that came on the show.
I'll do it, Scott. Holla at me. I'll do it, bro.
She was totally clueless. I mean, she wasn't even part of the argument. She was kind of a bystander, and she knew nothing. But that's really, I think, been the only person that has, actually challenged where we're coming from. And unfortunately, I can't predict what's going to happen Monday, but unfortunately, I believe it's going to be more of the same. More complaining, more details, more of everything except solutions. So anyway, I'll stop there, Peter. I could talk all night, and I'll let you make some comments on that.
Well, a couple of things.
By the way, Scott, I just want you to have this screenshot. I'm going to move myself away. I just want you to have this, Scott. This is like a better quality picture of Bill with the I wrote that on the board, unread, and that's just a picture that I took on my good camera of Bill with this. See, look how high quality that is. So that's Bill with the unread right there that I wrote on the whiteboard. So I just want you to have that, because in the one I posted in the thumbnail of this live stream, we're kind of covering the exclamation point. So I just wanted you to have this one for your like computer background. I have multiple. I got multiple, baby. Don't worry about it.
Let's see, where do we get started? So the MLM conference is run by a gentleman named William Keep. Now, I will tell you my personal feeling. There's probably some things that I did a long time ago that I am probably slightly, if not maybe utterly embarrassed by. So having said that, we probably all have done some stuff before to say, boy, was I young and naive and not as sharp as I am today.
What did you do, Peter?
Of being old, experience some wisdom. But in 1996, when I moved down to Florida,
the year I was born?
It was the tail end of 96, so the beginning part of 97, I started to try to figure out, okay, so what am I going to do? Because I first had to set up my family, and then it was the holidays, like December. I said, I'm not going to really try to find something in December. I'll start looking in January. So 1997, I actually, and this is more details than you need to know, I FedExed a guy money that was a known scam. So I FedExed money to a guy that was a known scam. His name was Tony. He was up in Canada, by the way. And the reason why I did that, because he had some telephone skills. And I said, listen, you're promoting a scam. But the idea that you get people like me to put $1,500 in an envelope and send it to you in cash, I want to learn those skills so I could do it the right way, not the wrong way like you're doing it. So I told him he was running a scam.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marco in our forum, the Goon Court.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. This motherfucker really just said that he was dead ass seeking out the guidance of a scammer, a known scammer, which is what they call me, a known shyster. Bro, you're literally admitting. I know he's saying I wanted to learn the skills of people, getting people to send in their money, but without scamming. Peter, did you ever once stop and think that the way he was getting people to send in the money was because he was making them such a ludicrous promise about the return on their investment that they would get, which is inseparable from the fact that he was scamming? Wow. Silica says you're not even ready. This shit gets so scrumptious. Wow. Yeah. In 1842, when I moved down to Florida, Scott talks a long time about William Keep. Oh, man. Only Peter's allowed to make mistakes, no one else. Oh, my God. In 1810, we got a free plot of land to live in the colonies. Here we go. Wow, I can't wait.
I said, but if you're willing to teach me the techniques that you're doing to get otherwise people to throw $30,000 or $50,000 in an envelope, I'm interested in learning. Are you willing to teach? Well, when I was walking...
Peter, you're a scammer.
...past an office inside the building where the FedEx box was, there was a stack of video cassette duplicators.
Wow.
And I walked past the office, and part of my business building philosophy has always been, if you started with nothing and you...
Scott, when are you going to catch on that Peter has been fucking rinsing you for years now, bro? This guy's scamming you.
Ended with nothing, what have you lost?
Prove that you have no ego by recognizing and accepting the fact that Peter has been scamming you for 10 years. You know what? Scott, just as a little test, as a little game, because you're going to listen to this before Peter does, okay? So try this with him before he gets a chance to listen to this. Go and ask Peter if he would be willing to consider doing a podcast on a different platform, not on BFR, like maybe on YouTube where you do it with audio and, better audio and video or whatever. Just make it up. It doesn't even have to be true. Just ask him if he'd be open to doing it on another platform where you both have equal ownership and one of you isn't paying the other. Just see what his reaction is. Just see. Because if he's really your friend and he really supports you, he should have no problem with that. Especially you've been paying him for this shit for 10 years. So, yeah, let me know what happens with that. Feel it out. And you know what? I bet you he wouldn't even want to co-host this shit with you anymore. Or if he did, it would last a very short span of time, and then he would realize, okay, yeah, I can't even justify this with money because there's no money here.
And the answer is not a trick question. It's probably nothing.
It did get boring for a minute, and now it's juicy, yep.
I walked past that door. I saw those videotape duplication things, and Scott, books, tapes, and functions, right? Books, tapes, and functions. What's this guy doing with all these video things? I stopped by and I introduced myself. I told him I was here from Chicago, and was noticing those machines, and I asked him, what does he do with it? He said, well, I do network marketing stuff. I said, oh, really? So, can I sit down and talk to you for a little bit? Well, he was doing the...
Peter Mingles is the original let me pick your brain guy. Let me buy you coffee and pick your brain, a.k.a. waste your time.
Tapes for one company, and we spoke about Travel Max. Now, Bill Keep is listening in.
Panda wants you to know this, Scott. He says, Scott Johnson, if you read this comment, $15 for a domain for 1 year, $60 for a year of web hosting. Look up how to embed an audio plugin. Now you can actually have your own show. There you go. Less than $100.
He should be probably saying, oh, shit, I forgot all about them.
Johnny, that's a lie. It's not Scott's show. He just says that to stroke Scott's ego. This is Peter's platform.
Travel Max. Wow. Well,
return some videotapes
here's
for real.
The thing. Travel Max was shut down. And I said to my friend, who I will not name only because he doesn't need to be tangled into this, I said to him, yeah, they were shut down. He says, well, I used to make their video cassettes. I did their duplication. And I said, then why were they shut down? He said it was real simple. As a matter of fact, he says, I'm dealing with the FTC right now. They asked me, why did I do what I did for them? And the answer is, well, I told them what they couldn't put on the videotape, and they did it anyway. So they didn't listen to him. They did it anyway. And I don't remember if he was duping the fraudulent tapes or the good tapes or whatever the hell it was.
Great point, Abby. Scott believing this is his show is like how MLM girlies be believing they have a real business, their own business. So true. So true, frankly.
But the bottom line is the FTC was shut down, or the FTC shut down.
Back in 97 when I was palling around with He Who Must Not Be Named, yeah. He made one of the 3 forbidden items tapes. Yeah. It's like the Horcrux, Voldemort's Horcrux. If Scott Johnson was Voldemort, his Horcruxes would be like, one of them would be like a pamphlet, one would be a VHS tape.
Travel Max. And William Keep was a gentleman who was on trial as an expert witness. So if you want to see William Keep back in 1997, write this down. Travel Max is spelled travel and then Max, M-A-X, one word.
Wow.
And then you can look under Jeff Babner, B-A-B-E-N-E-R, and that probably makes Bill Keep shaking his boots a little bit too, because there is one trial in MLM that was actually videotaped. Something was wrong with, I don't know the whole details, but I believe something was wrong with the transcription thing, and they videotaped it instead. So this trial is available on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and you type in Jeff, J-E-F-F, and then Babiner, Jeff Babner, by the way, has passed away, but Babiner is spelled B-A-B-E-N-E-R, and then Travel Max, you'll be able to see a lot of the videos that are up there, and you'll be able to see William Keep and Dr. Charles King, who, by the way, I went to Dr. Charles King's certification course once in 1997. I think it was my first time, and then 3 or 4 times as an instructor. So I know a lot about Dr. Charles King. So Dr. Charles King was an expert witness there. Jeffrey Babner was an expert witness there.
So boring.
Jeffrey Babner was a much younger, much less experienced man and had his head handed to him. And this is not me taunting William Keep, but William Keep was younger and inexperienced and certainly not qualified to be an expert witness. And Jeffrey Babner played with him like a cat and a mouse. And if you want to see that live, you can go see that on YouTube. It's still there today. Now, I started my sentences by saying, I bet you, if someone had videotaped something I had done in 1996 or 1997, where I was speaking about or maybe caught up in something that I was not an expert at, I might be slightly embarrassed as well, and I probably grew in 20 or 30 years. Well, the reality is, I'm sure William Keep probably will look at that and say, it's not one of my better days, but it is recorded. If you want to see William Keep, a much younger man, way back then on YouTube. So again, YouTube, Jeffrey Babner, Travel Max, and you'll be able to see not only that one, but also the whole trial.
Write this down. Travel Max, fucked my wife.
Now, I'm going to wrap up the story. So I'll say, and I'm not going to mention my friend's name, because I did say to him, I said, well, why don't you just can't you just send like your business plan to the FTC ahead of time and let them approve it? And he said, I asked that question. And he says, let me tell you what my friends at the FTC, now by the way, this is 1997, so his friends at the FTC are probably not there anymore. So, but this was what he said. If I send, this is what they told me. If you send me all your stuff, it's going to go straight from the mailman to the trash pail. And he says, wait a minute, I'm your friend. He says, this is the way we do it. It goes from the mailman to the trash pail. And here's why. Most of you guys never make it anyway, so there's nothing to look at. You'll be out of business in a few months or a few years. Number one. Whatever. You're not going to make it anyway, so why bother looking at these things? Next is that we work on complaints, so people have to complain about it. So you have to be in business long enough for people to complain about it, and then we go after you. So you can send us whatever you want, but nobody ever reads it. It's just not the way it's done, which is a little bit on the frustrating side, but I understand where they're coming from. But there's my specific examples of some people that are close to, I want to tie it into the MLM conference, because for people like Marco, who think they do all this research, I just gave you more information that you never knew about this MLM industry and the people you're working with. God damn it, Mark.
You've actually talked about this Bill Keep thing like innumerable times, bro.
It's so fucking stupid. So the reality is that, yeah, there's some of us that actually know what's going on, Marco, and you don't. So the reality is go enjoy yourself, and I gave you that now. So if you do get a chance to listen to it, maybe you can watch it, and you can ask Bill to comment on that, and I don't know what his comments might be, depending on his ego.
Sorry, Peter. Me and Doug and Bill and Peter Vandernat and some people who I shan't name because they're not there they're only there in an official capacity. We were too busy having a great time at dinner and chumming around and taking pictures and hugging and having fun. Something you know nothing about. So sorry about that.
But the reality is that he didn't look good, and they had his way with him, and Jeffrey Babner really swept the floor with him. Now, the FTC won anyway, so just so you know. Just because the FTC won anyway means nothing. The FTC wins because they're bullies. The FTC wins because they hide evidence. The FTC wins because they own the judges. The FTC wins because they never pick cases they're going to lose. Bro? So the reality is the FTC wins all the time anyway. So that does not have any reflection to do with on Bill Keep. So, and you'll probably see that based on what's going to happen to Neora and Success by Health, which are two of the local cases that are in there. So, Scott, back to you.
Yeah, that's a perfect couple of examples of what I'm talking about. You know, people that go in there because they have titles in front of their name, like professor or, you know, assistant professor, or maybe letters behind their name, like MBA, you know, whatever the letters are behind their name, PhD, all these different things. And people just assume that they're right because they have these names in front and letters behind. And I actually made that comment on my latest comment to the FTC for the business rule revision. They were asking for input, and I made that point in writing. You can find it on the FTC website. That, hey,
it's so funny. Somebody commented on my so that first pic in the collage I posted on Instagram earlier today, I also posted on YouTube as a community post. And somebody commented, Gordy Santa Maria commented, it's all going to plan. Delivering a keynote among the top anti-MLM experts around. Got him right where we want him. Back to you, Scott. Love it.
Because you have titles and letters behind your name doesn't mean that you know what you're talking about. And I'm willing to debate anybody or anybody's. I'll go up against, let's say, 10 people. You pick 10 of your best people, and let's have a debate. Let's talk to the facts. Let's, you know, work out what's really going on versus what you think is going on, and just get all the way through all the issues. And I've never been taken up on that. So that should tell you a lot. You know, when people are not confident that they can debate you, that tells you a lot, that they're not confident. If they were, they would come on the show and have that debate, but they don't. And so that should be almost proof of who's right. But I'm willing to do the debate. You know, I'm not saying just because they don't come on, I'm right. I'm willing to do the debate and prove that I'm right. So anyway, that's, I guess, neither here nor there. But yeah, you had a couple of great examples there, Peter, of what I was mentioning. You know, Bill Keep really didn't know much of anything about MLM. He actually, you know, was sort of, you know, cowering, saying, well, I'm just a guy that knows retail. I don't really know MLM. You know? And you'll see that on the videos on YouTube with Jeff Babner. That MLM really was not his expertise, and it still isn't, Bill. It's still not your expertise. You still don't understand. You still don't understand what the issues are. You're just like Marco. You're always stupid, and until you open
Yeah, the guy who has organized the MLM conference 3 years in a row doesn't know what he's talking about. In what reviews and what papers and what studies have your guys' essays and studies been published in, Scott and Peter? I'll wait. Literally, you can't tell me because you have nothing. Shit is sad, bro. This should get. Wow, they talk about nothing from this century for real. Their show would get more listeners if they put Marco's name in the title. Probably.
Mind, like you would think. Now, Peter, when we went to college, that was a place to go to expand your mind, right? To listen to different viewpoints, to learn how to think.
These guys got their masters. What do they know? So true. So true.
To, basically mature as a thinker. But now it's the exact opposite. Now college is where you're told how to be woke.
I have several publications posted at alwaysmarco.gay. So true. When did the sound effects come, bro? Really, Peter really held it to the end.
Be a snowflake, how to get in line, how to, behave properly to the liberal theos, and
Did you
just
say how to be a snowflake? Here we go.
Be a good little boy and girl. And now it's going even back into elementary school. I mean, they're teaching people now really young about, hey, little second grader, you're not really a boy, are you? You're a girl, right? Those are the kind of things that's being talked about in so-called education these days. It's incredible how far we've come as far as losing.
Imagine how crippled they feel inside, how crippled inside they are after talking shit for weeks, sending a smear email, and then only to watch a conference where they are the butt end of the joke. Mwah.
The ability to think, and that's really the core of this whole thing, is people are just on an emotional high, and they just love to complain, and they just cannot think. It's just amazing. It's unbelievable. So I'll stop there. I could go on and on, but we'll just stop it right there. Did you have anything more to add?
No, but I would, for those people that are listening in, I would definitely go look at the research. And so you go to YouTube, Jeff Babner, Babener, Travel Max, and then you'll find the parts with Bill Keep, and also you'll see the parts. Watch the whole thing. It's a very good, fascinating thing about how things work. So you'll see Dr. Charles King, who I'm assuming would have been pro-MLM, because he was the professor at the University of Illinois in Chicago, a marketing professor, ran the certification course. And then there's a few other people in there as well, but it's very interesting. Oh, actually, you'll see Michael Sheffield there, too. He runs Sheffield Resources. And Jeffrey Babner, which is probably there. So Babner was probably the attorney. Resources was done by Sheffield. And King was probably brought in there to be a pro-MLM witness there as well. So it's a fascinating trial, if you will, to be able to see. And I think it would probably be worth the experiences. And like I said, Jeffrey Babner has passed. Michael Sheffield is still building a booming business, helping MLM companies get started.
A boomer business.
And then Dr. Charles King passed a few years ago, and we did a couple of radio show interviews with him, and I think I told you my Dr. Charles King stories before. I had a lot of respect for Dr. Charles King and the things that he did. That's where I met Tim Sales. That's where I met Mark Yarnell, his wife Renee Yarnell at the time, a lot of other people as well, Keith Lagos, Jerry Nera, a lot of the old standbys in home-based businesses. So for those people that want to do research, I love it when Marco says things like, oh, he knows a lot about MLM. I just mentioned people's names he doesn't even recognize. So I don't know how much research you've done, but amateurish at best, shooting your mouth off most of the time. So back to you, Scott.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Marco's got nothing. I mean, he's really always just stupid. Repeating. He's always stupid. He's repeating what all the other.
Then why were you hassling me, Scott, to come on your show? I literally put out the fucking stream on Saturday, the origin of the beef, where I show your emails of you harassing me to come on your show. You wouldn't take no for a fucking answer, you pussy-o.
Anti-MLMers have been saying for years, and he
LOL Silica
really brings nothing new to the table at all. Except
people just love to complain. Pot, meat, kettle, so true. Yeah. They've totally lost the plot for real. Nobody listens to this seriously. I'm still writing down Travel Max. Wow.
He's sort of this, sort of an outgoing personality, at least when he's on.
LOL, see, they always accidentally compliment me. I just searched Dr. Charles King. Not a single article pops up. I love it. What up, Velvet?
Camera. He's said many times when he's not on camera, he's a very shy, introverted guy. He's even talked about in his apartment one time he was about to take the elevator, and then somebody else was walking towards the elevator, and he was really nervous that he would have to ride the elevator with somebody else that lived in the building. I mean, that's who Marco really is until he gets in front of the camera.
I'm not nervous. I'm just chilling on people.
And then the lights come on, and he's Mr. Personality. So he's quite an interesting character.
Thank you for that.
And by the way, he's going to be posting a video, I think, tonight on his YouTube channel, Always Marco. We call him Narco, so I don't want people to try to find Always Narco, although that's what he is. He's a cocaine dealer, or he was. Maybe still is even. But as far as how we first came across Marco and the initial conflict, if you will, and it really isn't the initial conflict. It was sort of the initial conflict on his radio or his YouTube channel. It goes back months and months before that. We could talk about that perhaps in a future show after this video gets reposted, and then we can, play little parts and just show how stupid Marco really is, because he really is stupid. And we're not just making that up. All right, so I guess we can move on to behindmlm.com, which is our...
We can move on from Marco to Marco?
Favorite website for finding...
We can, but I got to say something. Just one last thing, just talking a little bit at Marco before.
Here we
go.
So
Marco said that his experiences, besides being an MLM guru, he's also very well trained in audio. So he's like an audio expert. Audio
sound
expert.
Effects.
So because he always teases us, Scott, that we sound like crap, and we don't know what we're doing. Well, we use a platform that is probably a multi-million-dollar company's platform. So if we sound like crap, everybody on the platform sounds like crap if they're using the phone to call in. And because we're both busy guys.
LOL, him making excuses. Him clearing his throat. Well, then everybody sounds like crap. And well, actually, I love that I'm actually, these past couple episodes, Peter's facade has been cracking a little bit. And he's been showing his insecurity. Why is he even finally addressing this now? Well, we're just we're busy guys, and we don't have time to and we
that you
Tyler, thank you, bro. Tex always talks about nobody. Tex always talks about nobody talks about the solutions when he himself has zero solutions to any problem. So true. So true. Thank you, Tyler. I have to say something. If they're using the phone to call in, I know, bro. I want to cyberbully them so bad. Play the stuttering kid. I got you, bro.
I'm not going to sit here and do everything with the studio. We do lots and lots and lots of different things.
The studio? You're in the garage.
But I did learn how to become an audio guy, so I'm going to go like this. Here's for Marco. Marco.
This is a show that is supposedly about business. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. I learned how to become an audio guy. He thinks he's an audio engineer now because he played the sound effect. Oh my God. The fact that we have got to the point in the meta, in the lore of this beef, where they are now playing sound effects. Bro, imagine somebody who didn't know about their show listening to this. These guys, Peter in the last episode said he's 60. He got insecure about the age thing too. He was like defending he's like, Marco, I'm only 60, so, and the shit about his son and whatever. See, they don't like it when I meet them with the same energy, when I give them a dose of their own medicine. And also, yeah, Lamau, even him trying to prove how good he is at audio by playing the sound effect was way louder than the rest of the audio, so he kind of fucked that up too. Oh my God, I gotta spin that back real quick and fucking listen to that. That killed me. 106. Can I get back there? It's sensitive. It's touchy. Fuck. It's basically impossible to get back. Wow. You really can't make this up, bro. Here, let's...
or he was. Maybe he still is, even. But as far as how we first came across Marco and the initial conflict, if you will, it really isn't the initial conflict. It was sort of the initial conflict on his radio or his YouTube channel. It goes back months and months before that.
Well, he's promoting my stream where I talk about the origin of the beef. Wow, that is hilarious. This is the best timeline for real. All tools, no scams. True villain origin story. Fuck. Peter would probably charge Scott extra to meet in person for sure. Yes. Can't wait. Can't wait to see what other sound effects he's got.
And we can talk about that perhaps in a future show after this video gets reposted.
He's a techie.
And, play little parts and just show how stupid Marco really is.
He blew out the hearing aids of his 5 listeners. You're generous, Johnny. He doesn't have 5 listeners.
Stupid. We're not just making that up. All right, so I guess we can move on to behindmlm.com, which is our favorite website for finding...
We can, but I got to say something. Just one last thing.
The lore is so thick it pushes back. Okay, here, let me put it at regular speed now. Here we go.
A little bit, Marco, before. So Marco said that his experiences, besides being an MLM guru...
Somebody wants an Obama. There we go.
He's also very well trained.
I'm kind of a high-tech guy. I point my camcorder at the screen to record it and watch it after. He just has tabs. Yep, here we go.
Audio. So he's like an audio expert, audio expert.
Jared, you remember, audio engineer. Back in the day, I used to just play the sound effects off my phone into the mic like this. I had a little playlist because I didn't have a Stream Deck. I had no gear. I couldn't afford anything.
So because he always teases us, Scott, that we sound like crap, and we don't know what we're doing. Well, we use a platform that is probably a multi-million-dollar company's platform. So if we sound like crap, everybody on the platform sounds like crap if they're using the phone to call in. And because we're both busy guys, I'm not going to sit here and do everything with a studio. We do lots and lots and lots of different things. But I did learn how to become an audio guy, so I'm going to go like this. Here's for Marco. There you go, Marco.
Oh, again.
We figured out how to do that for you, Marco. And
Scott's
I just
in the
have
back.
to poke fun a little bit at him, Scott, because I did all the work to put some stuff up here. For those people that are unfamiliar...
What do you mean you did all the work? You opened a tab and typed the word air horn. Now you're an audio engineer?
Marco had to fly from wherever he is to wherever he's going. And let me just see if I could pull up some of these... little audio clips over here.
And by the way, we don't know if he was able to enter the country because I reported him to Customs and Border Patrol.
Oh, he admitted it. Oh, I can't believe he admitted it on the show. Okay, here we go.
He was flying in sometime today, and we still don't know if he made it across the border. So, we'll see. I reported to Customs and Border Patrol about how he, was a cocaine dealer, maybe still is. And I included a story from a couple of years ago on the website Vice, vice.com, where a woman from England tried to get in, and the Border Patrol got a little nervous. They started looking at her telephone and found that she had a text that mentioned cocaine, and she admitted to using cocaine in the past, and they said, well, you can't come into the country. She was turned away. So she was just a former user. And the only evidence was a text. We've got a full-blown 2.5-hour video of Marco bragging about being a cocaine dealer in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. For
Edmonton, Ontario.
Years. So, I don't know if they acted on that input from a couple weeks ago or not, but we'll
send this to Customs. I mean, we have the record of it now on the stream.
We'll see if Marco actually shows up in Washington, D.C., which is, I believe, where they're going to be. That's where he said it was. He was going to be, and then he went secret because
he's flying from where he is to where he's going. Yes, that's how traveling works, Lamel.
People told him, Marco, you're not supposed to tell everybody where the conference is going to be. So then he started calling it an unknown location after he'd already spilled the beans. But he's always stupid, so. I'll turn it back to you if you have any more sounds, Peter.
I sure do. Of course I do. So, Marco, it took you, you had to take courses or you went to school or whatever to become an audio technician. It took me about 5 minutes to put a couple of them together for you. Well, there was this one woman with an accent, Marco. You'll probably recognize this one. She kind of told you what to do.
You go back to your own country.
That audio quality is so bad, I almost didn't fucking recognize it. That is the audio of my neighbor back in 2020 telling me to go back to my own country. And the irony of that whole story was she was like a Scottish lady with a thick accent. Let me see if I can find this. City News, racist neighbor. So in my old building that I used to live in back in 2020, my downstairs neighbor was playing music so loud one time, I asked her to turn it down. Then she came to my door, and I have it on camera. She came to my door, and told me, don't ever come to my door again, and this and that, and go back to your own country. And my English is better than hers. My English speaking, voice is better than hers. I speak better English than most people I know. It's the only language I know. I was born and raised here. And she's like, go back to your own fucking country. I'm like, do you not see the irony? I speak better fucking Canadianese than you. So that's a deep cut, and the audio quality is so fucking bad. Wow. That's where he said where he's being. Silica. Wow. What up, Ed Tyler? Appreciate you, big dog. Appreciate you. Wow, my goodness. Can't believe this, you guys. I really can't. Really can't. Oh no, guys. It's my birthday. I didn't get any donations yet. What happened up here? Nobody showed me any love. Wow. Emotional manipulation. You don't think that clip will get him in trouble, Panda? Because he doesn't admit he knows it's bullshit. I see. Did you give me a gift, Velvet? Just playing. Can't spell, no clue about geography. Please continue to insult people with letters like PhD at their name. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Goon Lord. Sorry for the interruption.
Understandable. I'll allow it this once. Thank you. That's our boy Ed Tyler. Thank you, Ed Tyler. I appreciate that, Big G. They went deep for real. I don't even know if that clip is still on Instagram. I don't even know how they got that. They've probably had that audio saved for a long time. You give Marco $200? Yeah. We reported him, but still don't know if he got in or not. Insert Price is Right fail sound. I actually have that sound right here. There you go. Nice. 50 for him, 100 for my robot, 150 for my Robux. Robux, nice. Thank you, Velvet. Well, here we go. Let's get back to it then.
Told him to go outside. Go
back to your own country.
They cut off her saying, "You cunt."
Marco knocked on the door of a woman with an accent, and told her music was too loud, and she found out where he lived and knocked on his door. And
she didn't find out where I live. I live right above her.
Just by the way, if you go to marcomukabear.com, you'll be able to
the voice crack.
See the whole thing in video.
Oh, it's here.
But you'll see this woman who would have kicked his ass if we would have allowed her to. And here's another thing she said.
No, don't you ever come in my door.
Don't you ever come by my door. I think she even told him to stay away. Hold on one second.
Stay away from my door.
How did they even find this? I don't even have this, bro. News.com.au. How the fuck did they find this, bro? Wow. That's amazing.
Every night and
I went to #1 on motherfucking r/public freakout with this video, bro. She was tripping. That was a good video.
So, Marco, now, Scott, I'm not sure. I think I might have one or two more, so hold on. I put some work into this. I got to play these at least. Hold on one second. So,
absolutely.
You're
making Marco jealous. He might try to copyright you for stealing his little soundboard because he has all kinds of sounds. And you know what we should do, Peter, is make him some new sounds because he loves to play you saying Marco. So if you want to say narco a couple times, then he could copy that and start playing it.
Absolutely. Well, let me do this. We found him. I think he was in a hallway. So hold on one second. Here we go. So he was around there.
What is that?
And then I'm almost done. I don't have like a little soundboard like Marco does because, Marco, you're not worth it. So here we go.
I'm not worth it, they say as they talk about me for the 1,000th week in a row. Scott Johnson is like, I just kind of skip through it, then gives all the highlights of the stream. Yeah, no kidding, bro. He talks about shit that I don't even talk about on stream. I just thought it in my mind, and somehow he knows.
And then Scott, we found him. I think we went into the restroom. I think he did make it to the airport at least once, and then he went into the restroom. And, there we go. Marco. So he always has to pee. So, and then off with something. Sorry, Marco. We bugged you. So we bugged you, Marco. We caught you in the bathroom. So anyway.
Oh my God, I'm actually fucking speechless right now, bro. What the fuck? The pee bloop, 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 droplets with the huge reverb, and then the just way too loud fart sound effect. Bro, these are two 60-year-old men. I think Scott is actually even older than Peter Mingles, and Peter said he's 60. Oh my God, these guys are 60. Oh my God, bro. You know what, Panda? You're right. They have given me a few drops, and they've been generous. I will give Scott and Peter. You just say it on the next episode on Saturday's show. Tell me. I will give you a drop of whatever you want. It's up to you to figure out how to like cut it and post it on the soundboard or whatever. But I give you permission. You make a recommendation to me of what drop you want from me to say for your channel, and I'll give it to you. Totally. Fair is fair. Fair and square. I can't believe that. That's hilarious. Wow. I love that their show has devolved to this. Let's keep going.
So having said that, Scott.
Yeah, you got me, guys. I poop and pee. You got me. We bugged your place, Marco. We bugged your place, Marco.
We can move on to more serious stuff. But I did put a little bit of time. I had to put a little bit of time into some of these sounds.
This is the most I've ever liked them. Me too. Oh, their minds have been broken.
Because we're going to use them in the future. There's a lot more, but we'll use them when Marco comes back and inevitably tells his version of every story. So back to you, Scott.
Oh, exactly. Those are great sounds. I'm looking forward to more too. So we'll
those are great sounds.
We'll definitely we'll come back next week. We'll see what's going on. So if you go to behindmlm.com, these guys do a great job of finding and tracking stories on MLMs. And
these guys, it's y'all.
Ponzi's and some other.
I'm gonna skip ahead and see if they talk about me more.
But we don't cover stories on MLM.
Never been in the court system before knows that the Department of Justice, they're already broken before they go to that jail, Scott. Yeah, they're already broken before they go to that jail, Scott. So back to you.
Wow.
Yeah, no, exactly right. They're broken and they stay broken. There's no doubt. So just word to the wise. If you're thinking about doing things like that, think again. The consequences are extreme, permanently. The rest of your life type stuff. And of course, if you're a felon, then in many places at least, you can't even do things like vote, own a firearm. Really basic rights are taken away from you even after you get out. So
you'll never get a job. Everybody finds out about your background. You'll never get a job.
Now you could become an MLMer.
Definitely took Peter forever to set that up. I've been talking about you for 45 minutes. I love it.
So don't take anybody. So anyway, I'll remind you that.
They would break into your septic tank and do a full post-mortem on your shit just to talk about it. So true, frankly.
Story.
Yep.
There you go.
We're almost running out of time.
Yeah, we are. We can just do one more because this is an interesting story. It's March 7th, 2023 is the date on the story. And the headline is, New You Life files anti-slap response to Awakens lawsuit. And I won't go through all the details.
I think that's it then, yeah?
You're already a broken person. I mean, we already broke you.
First Amendment, and so
So spread the word. Tell a friend.
Wow.
Play dirty pool. So guess what? We're done with our radio show today. So next week, I don't know about the when the daylight savings time is, but I'm pretty sure next week we'll be here at 8 o'clock Eastern time. So, and we'll be able to get
I think tonight. I think tonight is the end of regular time. We're on daylight savings.
Is it really?
Tomorrow morning, isn't it? Yep. So spring ahead tonight. You got to spring ahead 1 hour. So next week let's start a half hour early if that makes sense to you. I mean,
sure,
a half hour later. Excuse me.
So we'll go back to 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 your time. So 8:30 Eastern. Okay.
Yeah, 8:30 Eastern. Right.
Jeez,
Yep.
I must be sleeping. Yeah, I must be sleeping. Well, we'll also give you guys some of our feedback on the MLM conference if we're allowed in. And we're going to catch everybody next time on Building Fortunes Radio. Oh, Scott, why don't you give out your website one more time?
Sure. Facebook.com/Scott Tex Johnson, SCOTTTEX JOHNSON. That's all one word. And again, 3 websites, YouTube.
AlwaysMarco.gay, MarcoMacabra.com, MarcoMacabra.gay, AlwaysMarco.lol. Wow, what a fucking incredible episode. What a development in the Scott and Peter lore. I love it. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. Love it, man. Love them. Love those guys. Well, that's it for me. We've been doing this one long enough. 3 hours, I think. No, 2:40. Man, I really appreciate the love on this one, man. The bags were crazy, dropping like crazy. Panda, Legend. Who was the other person that dropped a big bag? One second. Wavy AF, that was who it was. Thank you. Yeah, really crazy, guys. I'm really appreciative of all the love you sent today. Crazy madness, you know. Did they ever talk about mental illness? You know what? They didn't. Wasn't it called like wokeness and mental illness with anti-MLM or something like that? And they never even talked about that, bro. What the fuck? If you're a felon, you can still thumbs up the stream. So true.
Thumbs up the king.
Well, I appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for more episodes of Multi-Level Misery, the interview with Doug Brooks, the full video of my speech from the MLM conference. And yeah, appreciate y'all. Yeah, Panda did drop 500. So true. Appreciate you guys, man. Peter's grandkid. Just open a YouTube video and put your phone up to the speaker. Peter, I learned how to play audio in 5 minutes. Lamau. So funny. You guys, your comments give me life. Appreciate y'all, man. That's it. I'm going to go sleep for 14 hours now. I'm so tired. Love you guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Till Friday. Peace out. And also, big up to me. Big shout out to me. It was unclear whether I was going to be able to stream tonight, whether I'd be even back home early enough to do it. And not only did I did a bit late, but not only was I able to stream, because I posted that one on Saturday, I actually haven't missed 0 stream days, despite being gone for 5 days. So big shout out to me for that. Because on Friday night, when I flew out, I flew out Saturday morning, right? I thought I was not going to stream, and then I streamed. Remember? The one that was called The Final Stream was on Wednesday last week. So I thought there wouldn't be a stream Friday or Saturday or today, and I managed to pull it off all 3 times. Licky! Thank you, guys. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Npaz. I would do Discord voice chat, but I'm too tired tonight. Rainy Kanan, Nabox, thank you. Reagan, Ronald Reagan, Panda, thank you. Dark Phantom, Jay, Alex, Johnny, Kinka. Take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
Appreciate y'all. Peace out.
Shawty wanna fuck. Shawty likes to rough. She's got a
billions
big
and billions.
A big round wet McMuffin.
What up, Poppy
Shawty's
Dale?
got sexual
Peace.
techniques.